morning, lovely people of GhanaTalks Radio. You are welcome to the GhanaTalks Breakfast Show live on GhanaTalks Radio. Do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel and other channels at GhanaTalks Radio. So this is the breakfast show. This early morning, we present to you newspaper reviews, we discuss, we bring our opinions on board, and also we do believe you would bring your opinions on board. You can also bring your opinions through our YouTube channel at GhanaTalks Radio. And today, you are surprised to see me here. Yes, our able host for the breakfast show is not available today, so I would be sitting in. I answer to the name Miss Reggie Nablus, and I have with me Miss Deborah Adorso. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hope you are well.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Are you sure you are fine?
I'm fine.
You're fine. All right. So without wasting much time, we will delve straight into today's newspaper reviews. In Team Fodral, desperate for political relevance, Larry Dogbe. Larry Dogbe has slammed the ranking member of the Defense and Interior Committee, Reverend John Intim Fodral, accusing him of making unsubstantiated claims to gain political relevance. Dogbe's criticism follows Fodral's recent press conference, where he called for full disclosure on an alleged national security operation involving two suspicious aircraft that landed at Kotoka International Airport. What I make of Reverend Intim Fodral in the last few weeks of him becoming the ranking member is somebody who is struggling to be noticed, someone who is struggling to establish himself politically. Fodral, alongside the minority caucus, has been leading calls for transparency regarding reports of a national security raid on a warehouse in Sapiman. The operation allegedly uncovered 12 20-foot containers filled with gold bars and unspecified amounts of cash. Additionally, he has demanded an urgent briefing on the cargo carried by two aircraft, Air Med Flight N823AM and Kavok A Antonov, and 12B suspected of transporting cocaine and cash into the country. Despite these claims, Dogbe remains skeptical of Fodral's approach, suggesting his recent outbursts are more about political positioning than genuine accountability, while national security is yet to respond to the allegations. The reported raid and aircraft continue to spark controversy. So the story is all about accusation, allegation, skepticism, and ongoing debate. So Larry Dogbe alleged that Reverend Intim Fodral is using security-related claims to gain political visibility. So Debbie, with what being said, especially about Intim Fodral, what Larry Dogbe said, do you think that it's not about being accountable, but rather he's trying to get political visibility, as Larry Dogbe said?
In a way, he's right.
Okay.
Because I've known Johnny, Mr. Intim Fodral for some time now. Not per se me knowing him personally, but I've heard of him because he was the former deputy education minister, and he has played a lot of roles in parliament as well. But as I said, in a way he's right, because you've been silent for some time now. Even when your government was in power, things were not going on well. I wouldn't say that the administration didn't try, but things wasn't going on well to the extent that it was too exposed, that it became so known. And I mean, you didn't make yourself too relevant, to say things about that, draw the attention of people on that. And now that the current or another government is in power, he's trying to make himself relevant, and I see it that he's trying to portray Okudzeto Ablakwa. Because that is what Okudzeto Ablakwa does. And for Okudzeto Ablakwa, even when his government wasn't in power, you could see his effectiveness and his relevance. You know, it is true Okudzeto Ablakwa that I think 2021, when former presidents during the previous administration went to, hire jet, and then it causes the country, I think, 21 million, and it came out that because there was no bathroom in the Falcon that was meant for the country, and so he went to hire a different jet. It was through Okudzeto Ablakwa we got to know this, and through Okudzeto Ablakwa we've know of a lot of exposés that were hidden from us. And I wouldn't say because his government wasn't in power, that's why maybe he's doing something like that to tarnish maybe the administration of the previous government. But looking at Okudzeto Ablakwa, he has been doing this for long. And even when his government is in power now, and I'll say that's the main reason why they've picked him to be part of this Aura team that are helping to expose corrupt officials, because he has been doing it and we know him for that. But for Intim Fojo, you've been around for so long, you've been quiet, even when he was the deputy education minister. I didn't even see him coming out to talk so much about things concerning education, even when there was problem or challenges associated to the free senior high school. And this is an initiative that was brought up by your government, but we didn't hear of you.
But sorry to interrupt you. With you saying you didn't hear of him during his tenure, you know, it is believed that these deputies do not really have much power like the main one. So I believe that is the reason why
you don't have much power like the minister appointed for that party. But at least, even if you don't have the power, don't you contribute? If we have back in school, we have the SRC president, we have the vice president, and sometimes the vice president standing for the president. Sometimes you don't even see the president himself. He sends information through the vice president. It wasn't enough. Even with that, you have your social media. So for you to post something, do you still need the concern of your head? Even though sometimes you will have to seek his thoughts on some of the things you would like to post. But for me, I didn't really felt his relevance when he was the deputy minister, and even he was even appointed in parliament on so many occasions. But still, we didn't hear of him that much. And now that the current government is in power, he wants to make himself relevant. He wants people to know that I am here. This is what I am doing. This is what I want to say. But you see, coming up with all this needs solid and vivid, shall I say, proof or evidence. And looking at Okudzeto Ablakwa, anytime he posts something, you go through
his social media, especially
Facebook, and then you will see when he brings the thing out, he tells you the date is that. He even draws your mind back to similar situation that occurred maybe 3 years time that we never knew that it was actually drawn in the state, and then you associate it with what he is saying, and he gives even vivid evidence enough to back his claim, what he is saying. But looking at Reverend, he's also a reverend. He's a reverend. A whole reverend in parliament. Like, seriously. And trust me, I'm sure I'm not the only one. And I know you too, it has really shocked you. We didn't feel him that much. And he's not the only one. Even most of the New Patriotic Party members of parliament or people that are well known in the party, we didn't feel them that much. But now that the current government is in power, it looks like Afena or Movim Naba, they are now coming up and then saying things they felt like was bad during their previous administration. So what was preventing you then? Intim Fojo can also be doing equally the same for this whole period of time. So one, it looks as if you want to tarnish the current government. Two, it looks as if the current government and its appointees don't know what they are doing. And three, it looks as if you are now trying to dictate for the current government and his appointees. So what I'm saying is that he's trying to make himself, because if not for these issues that he's bringing on board, have you not forgotten about him?
Seriously.
Because he was, for me, as for me, I've even forgotten that we used to have a deputy education minister that was called Reverend Intim Fojo. And it was recently I got to know that with the LGBTQ something, it's like he was also part of it.
The committee,
sort of something like that. But even with that, it's not only about you being appointed, to partake in something, but let us feel you. Let us feel your presence. Let us know what you are up to, what you want to do. You might not be picked to speak, but on your social media platform, you can do a video. Let the people know that this is your concern. This is what you stand for. But no. And now you are making it look as if the current government don't know what he's doing, and that you are now coming to put him on track. That's what I'm saying. So
okay, so right now, if I'm trying to get you, your main issue at hand is he not speaking up during his time in government, and now that he's speaking up, so it's making it look like it is politically motivated. But don't you think that aside this political thing, he has the voice, he has the right, he needs to come out to voice out whatever he wants to say? It was believed that our past administration was autocratic. They didn't listen to other people's view. So it might be, even though he was in power or he was an MPP, he was also scared to maybe voice out.
Why will you be scared? That's the first question. Why will you be scared? Because I don't think your constituency votes for someone who is not bold enough, or someone who is less confident. No. Before your constituents vote for you, they've identified certain characteristics in you which they believe that when they give you the mandate, you are going to do a lot for them. And it's not about only coming to them. You have to talk on their behalf, fight for them in parliament. Parliament, it's not about I know you and you know me. You are there to fight for your people. No matter what, fight for your people and make sure that what is lacking, they also get some. So this is a person that, I won't say a group of people, a whole community or a whole constituency sees you to be, someone good enough to lead. So whilst you were in power, even when he's still a member of parliament, right? He's still a member of parliament, right? How many times have you heard him in parliament voicing out or something?
No.
He has been quiet throughout. And I'm not saying he has his own right. He has the right to come and speak and talk about things that are not going well and things that he feels like the current government should do right. But this is what I'm saying. You have had this opportunity for so long since your government was in power. Even if it is the government or whoever is suppressing you, can't you talk? Or you are afraid? What are they trying to insinuate in the New Patriotic Party? And what you might be right in a way, because even up till now, I'm still seeing on social media some member of parliament that have been kicked out of parliament saying certain things that they feel was the fault of the party. That constitute to them being not voted back into power again. But so he's my father. Yeah, it's him for you. He's my father because he can equally give birth to me. But he's just trying to be relevant. That's all. He's just trying to be relevant.
So he's just trying to be relevant. In regards to Intim Fojo's recent allegations, this national security has not come out to give us any kind of should I say press conference or any kind of briefing, because when someone makes a claim, you need to follow up on the claim and all that. Do you think that these people are also being relaxed, or because there's no evidence to support his claim, so they are just there, they don't want to make a move?
They are not being relaxed. And you see, even when he came out with his first claiming of, I think, cocaine and something, President Mahama came out and he ordered that what he's saying, there should be a thorough investigation into what he's saying. So the presidents have already stamped on it. You've come out with a claim. He never kept quiet. He said, I'm going to order my people and ensure that what you are saying is thoroughly investigated. And I believe that the national security is not about immediately I come out to social media to say that I've seen Regina with a truck full of cocaine, then they stand up, Joe, they are coming.
Okay.
I feel like there is a process they also go through, and they also do their homeworks very well before they come out to make it known that they're after. And some of these security personnel also do not immediately make known to the public whether they are investigating the matter or not. Sometimes they do it secretly, and after they are sure that this is solid enough, the public can know that we are thoroughly investigating into this matter, they make it known to us. So with me, I believe that they are truly working on it, but just that it is not yet known to the public, and at the right time, I'm sure we will be informed about that.
Okay, thank you very much. So moving to our next newspaper review, government moves to track excavator imports. The government has commenced process to track the importation and use of excavators in the country. The initiative, which forms part of measures being deployed to fight illegal mining, will involve trained enforcement officers at the port to tag and track all excavators being brought into the country. The Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Emmanuel Kufibua, explained to the Daily Graphic that the ministry was rolling out the system in collaboration with relevant state agencies, including the Ministry of Transport, Ghana Ports and Harbour Authority, Ghana Revenue Authority, the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority, the Minerals Commission and the Forestry Commission. Mr. Bua further explained that apart from tagging excavators being imported, all such equipment already in the country would be tagged by a dedicated team spearheaded by the Minerals Commission. The minister added that as part of the government's resolve to deploy modern technology to facilitate the fight against galamsey, all legal small-scale mining concessions had been geo-fenced, while the coordinate of the site plans of each concession had been integrated into the Ghana Mine Repository and tracking software at the Minerals Commission. So finally, the government has initiated measures to track the importation and the use of excavators as part of efforts to curb illegal mining. Someone would say, is this a solid measure? Is this an effective measure the government needs to take on point? Debbie, I'll hear from you.
Excavators.
Yeah. to track them down.
To track excavators. It's quite funny, and I mean, talking about illegal mining itself, it has become a deadly disease, and I feel like to deal with illegal mining, we need to sit down. It needs critical thinking. Tracking excavators, tracking excavators to know where it's being imported, right? And after that, what next?
All those excavators will be definitely seized.
And what will it be used for?
Maybe it will be reused for another purpose.
What?
Because in our agricultural sector, we can use excavators. Contractors can also use excavators. Yeah.
And would that prevent illegal mining?
I personally would say it wouldn't prevent illegal mining.
So as I was saying, illegal mining, it needs critical thinking to bring out solid solutions to this kind of deadly canker, because this is something that is really destroying our forest reserves. our natural resources, like the water bodies. It is destroying it, and we are quiet, and it looks like as if every measure we are putting on board is not really helping to root out this illegal mining. First, it was this marine water, this thing they are training
initiative,
and then secondly is to track importation of excavators. Now, I'm talking about the excavators. Excavators are very expensive, very, very expensive, and most of these illegal miners mine with excavators. So you will ask yourself, that commoner, ordinary Ghanaian in I'm not saying Boase is I mean a sole place for mining, but I'm using that place because you know the Ashanti region is as we know, they say it's full of gold. So let me use Boase for example. Will a commoner, ordinary Ghanaian in a Boase get money to go and buy excavator to mine on our forest reserves and our water bodies? The answer is no. Because if they have that money to buy the excavators, it means the person is rich enough, and I'm not sure that person will engage in such in such a wicked act. Because illegal mining as a whole is not only affecting the country, but it's affecting us. And you know the most painful aspect, most of these communities that indulge in illegal mining are underdeveloped.
Exactly.
If you go to these communities, you'll be shocked that potable water, they don't have it. Proper roads, they don't have it. And even infrastructure, school infrastructure for students to learn in, they don't have it. Most of these communities, I wouldn't say they are poor, but they are poor. Because if a whole community has gold, it means that community is rich.
Yeah, they are rich.
If I'm in a community and I realize that even my house, let's assume I built a house, and even where my house is located, under the building there is gold. Just imagine that kind of joy. Automatically it means I'm a rich person. So how come the gold is being digged out and you are still poor? You ask yourself no question, and you see chiefs that takes money, illegally takes money or allegedly takes money to permit illegal mining in their communities. Sometimes you know why? Because you grant them the permit to dig the gold, and at the end of the day there is no developmental project in that community. At least even if illegally you take money or something, let there be a contract. You are come to mine in my community, and mind you, since it is illegal, it is negatively going to affect my community. With that, you have to build maybe 10 school blocks for my people, ensure that we have potable water. Because now that our river bodies are destroyed, it means there is no way my people can get access potable water to drink. So make sure you bring up an initiative or something to get them a bowl. And even without borehole, it's still the water now channeling through those places to ensure that these people have water to drink. And because of our selfish interest, we take the money and then we think for ourselves and we don't think for the communities.
Okay, so sorry to interrupt. What you are saying, are you in a way supporting illegal mining?
I'm not support. How can I support illegal mining? I'm not.
But you want the proceeds from the illegal mining.
What I'm saying is no. What I'm saying is that illegal mining is not good, and you wouldn't tell me that as an illegal miner, I've moved straight to Obuasi and I start mining without the permit of the chief.
No,
because the chief is the owner of that community. So I will have to seek the permission of the chief. And seeking up the permission of the chiefs means there should be a giveaway. And most of these chiefs allegedly take money for illegal mining to occur. But what I'm saying is that most of these chiefs, even though the mining is illegal and it affects us, negatively, most of these chiefs are selfish because even if they are mining illegally, there should be development in your community. I'm not saying I'm backing illegal mining, but it's their money, the money you are taking personally. Why not allow them use that money to develop your community? Because they mine illegally and you don't even get the gold. And at the end of the day, your people take on the street to protest. And you sit down quietly, you don't care because of your selfish gain. Illegal mining is very bad. I'm not supporting it, but this is what I'm saying. That as a chief, you own the place and you took money for illegal mining to occur. Sometimes without the consent of the people. And it is only few chiefs I can mention who come out to say that I wouldn't allow illegal mining in my community, and it was so. But how many of them have you seen, even during the last month to election? How many chiefs have you seen on the street protesting? Do they care? They don't even care. It is the residents, because they are the one feeling the pain. And you know what is funny? Because we are here, and it's like there is no river or stream around to fetch water. Everything has to do with tap. So we feel like it's not closer. So we don't want to pay attention. But trust me, the tap you are using in the house, it all boils down to this same water that they are destroying. But sometimes you open the tap, and then the tap color changes automatically. And we are wondering. And it was because of this same illegal mining that causes this Komfanoche Teaching Hospital to be suspended, because there was no water.
Okay, so in short of it, you are not in support.
I'm not in support of illegal money. Money.
I'm talking about this initiative the government has set down to track the importation and use of excavators. You are not in support.
I'm not in support of it, because it wouldn't help.
You know that. Okay, I feel that in a way I'm also not in support. In some way I'm in support of it, because when it is being imported, people at the port, people set up for this initiative would I feel alert the people in charge. But looking at this ECG containers that go missing, especially at the port, it's making us question the people, their loyalty.
But do you say we don't have people in Ghana here that sell excavators?
No, fines are being brought from China to Ghana.
But most of these vehicles are being imported to come and are imported to sell.
They are imported. They are imported then they sell it in Ghana.
Then they sell it in Ghana.
So that is where their initiative comes in. So I feel that whatever you are importing, either you are importing it to sell, importing it to use for illegal money, you need to be questioned and investigated. If truly you are selling it for contractors or any of that sort. But even at that, if truly that person is selling it to contractors, how would you know that an illegal miner will go to that site to buy it? That is also a question we need to ask ourselves.
That's also another problem. So, tracking the importation of excavators,
it is not really that effective.
It is not really that effective, and I'm not sure it's going to curb illegal mining completely.
It is a contributing factor.
Yes, that's serious. It's not going to curb illegal mining. They might start, but how effective is it going to be?
Yeah.
And how well are they going to investigate, thoroughly, to ensure that these people are not going to use these excavators for illegal mining? And some of these people can even present you with fake documents that says that the excavator is going to use for construction, and we use it for construction as well. They are going to use it for other purposes and not for illegal mining. It's going to be difficult unless maybe we've decided heartedly to put a stop to it. All these initiatives, marine water, whatever, and tracking importation of excavators, it's not going to help. We should come up with something to stop this illegal mining.
So to the government, they need to come up with a better initiative, a more effective one as that. But we do support this as it is a contributing factor. Moving to our last headline for today. I I will fully cooperate with investigation into missing ECG containers, Dubek Mahama. Former Managing Director of the Electricity Company of Ghana, Samuel Dubek Mahama, has expressed his readiness to fully cooperate with any investigative body that will establish to probe the controversial disappearance of over 1,300 ECG containers at the Tema port. Dubek Mahama's statement comes in the wake of mounting concerns and public outrage over the alarming loss of the containers, which were meant for ECG's operations. An investigative committee was formed to look into the matter, and the findings have raised serious questions about the handling of the containers. According to the committee's report, out of a total of 2,491 containers that were expected to be cleared and distributed by ECG, 1,357 containers have been declared missing. The missing containers, which reportedly contained vital equipment for ECG's operations, are believed to have been left at the port for an extended period without being cleared, and now their disappearance has sparked a major scandal. The former MD expressed his surprise and disappointment over the situation, but he also assured that he would fully cooperate with any probe into the missing containers. The containers were never in the custody of the ECG. If they were in ECG's custody, then you can hold ECG responsible. But this is the case that they were still under the port authorities, and so I am all for whatever investigations there will be, and I am ready to sit with whoever to give my side of the story. This, wow. I'm shocked. The ECG former MD director is saying that all these containers or properties were not under the ECG, so they are not supposed to be held responsible, but rather they should hold the port responsible for these missing containers. First of all, Debbie, if your property is with me, I believe that you will make sure that you see to it that those properties are being taken care of. And if it's missing, you will hold me accountable, and you also hold yourself accountable.
Sure.
So with what he's saying, let's put he's saying that he would assist with investigation. Do you believe that what he's saying is the step in the right direction? Do you think that it's even necessary for him to come out to say this to the public?
It's just a mere talk, and definitely they are going to call him for investigation, but because this is a case that allegedly his name was mentioned, and people are actually calling for him to be investigated, because it is just unclear that 1,300 containers can just get missing just like that under the current government. And you and I know that this current government came into power not quite long, and so if we want to thoroughly investigate this, everyone should be included, starting from the port. Whoever is working from the port needs to be investigated, from the port to the former Minister of Energy, because electricity cables are actually associated with the energy. And who is responsible for the energy, or who was the former energy minister? It was Dubek Mahama, right? So he needs to be investigated. But I feel like, you see, when issues like this happen and you're not being smart enough, you're not being quick enough, a befa also. So I feel like it's just a way to push the attention of the crowd, of the people, from focusing on him. Because I saw him in an interview where he said that the containers cannot be stolen and that it was misplaced, and so they should stop blaming political officials. They should stop blaming top officials for knowing something about the missing containers. And I was like, how do you say that the containers were not stolen, they were misplaced? How did it get misplaced? a whole container misplaced. So are you saying that when they were shipping the container to the port, I mean, they divert the route to passing another route that made the containers, or that resulted in the misplacement of the containers, or what? Because you're saying that the containers is not stolen and they are misplaced. How are they misplaced? These containers, as we know, they are not living things. Containers do not have legs. Containers do not have wings. So even if they are misplaced, it is someone, I mean a human being for that matter, who you and I do not know, who orchestrated the move of these containers. So with what he's saying, I feel like he's just pushing the attention from him and like pushing the focus from him. Because with this kind of situation, if you're not being smart enough, it will really help, like the step. So for me, I feel like he's pushing attention from him too.
All right. Okay, so we have Madam Omari join us, but unfortunately this is our last story before we move to the biscuit. So Madam Omari, Dubik Mahama is saying that he would fully cooperate with the investigation into missing ECG containers. But what is really surprising is he saying that the containers were never in the custody of ECG. So as to that, the ECG can't be held responsible, and in the case they were under the port authorities. So automatically the port authorities are needed to be investigated. Do you agree with what he said?
First of all, good morning to our beautiful listeners. This whole thing that is going on, and with him coming out, putting out such statements, I think he's just implicating his own self. In one breath, he's saying that the containers weren't stolen, they are just somewhere at the port. In another breath, he's saying he is fully willing to cooperate with investigations. So if the thing is not lost or stolen, what are we investigating? Is he not a part of the ECG board?
Yes.
Exactly. So if you know where the containers are at the port, why don't you just go and, because this whole thing is about ECG. These are your containers. The ports didn't import the containers to Ghana. It is ECG who imported the containers. And if they think it's the ports who have lost it or whatever, how many years were they in government? When did the containers come to Ghana? For you to take a new minister to come and discover the so-called misplaced containers, what were they doing then? What exactly were they doing then? So whatever he's saying now, for me, I think I'll side with Debbie. He's just trying to divert attention from himself. Because you can't tell us that the thing is not lost. In another breath, you are willing to cooperate for investigations. So what are we investigating? Last week, we saw them uncover about 3 different places where some of these containers were sent to. So if they are still at the port, then the ones that we uncovered, where are they from?
It as well. So thank you very much, Madam Omari and Sister Debbie, for bringing your contribution on board. So this is where we will end today's newspaper review headlines. Up next, we have the Debbie's Grill, where she wouldn't be grilling chicken, but she would be grilling human beings.
Good morning and welcome to the Debbie's Grill, where we delve into matters that concern the state or matters that interest to the state. Now, I find this very interesting. Prioritize LGBTQ plus bill like you did e-levy. Reverend Intim Fojo to Mahama. Reverend Intim Fojo, Member of Parliament for Asin South, is urging President John Mahama to prioritize the LGBTQ plus bill just like he did with the e-levy. So this was from a Member of Parliament for Asin South and also former Deputy Minister for Education. Now, people has been asking me this question. The question that keeps popping in the mind of people, this one, I'm not the one saying it, is he in the right position to tell the president the next step to take? Now, this is someone we know in the previous administration. And with the LGBTQ plus bill was brought into Parliament, and this bill was actually passed in Parliament, if I'm right, on the 28th February 2024 by the members of Parliament. And the same bill was presented to the then President, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. But the bill was not signed. It wasn't signed. And there was silence everywhere. Nobody was talking about it. Nobody knew why the president, as at that time, didn't pass it into law. And I was told it was because orders from above. Orders from above, and these orders are not orders from the country. These orders are orders from our people that colonized us. People we claimed to be independent. People that we claim that we are independent and not going to rely on them. But at the end of the day, we've now become so dependent to the extent that they are now dictating to us what to do and what not to do. And LGBTQ, as we are all saying, we don't see this happening though, and I haven't seen some with my eyes or come across issues or news that have it that they've caught somewhere, some people doing it or something. But trust me, these things are going on in our schools unknowingly. Just take a break. If only these students will be sincere enough, most especially in the single sex schools, the boys' schools, the girls' schools, go there. And if these teachers themselves and the students themselves will be open up or will open up to you, you will know what is going on the grounds. And I've come across similar situations on Facebook where a coach sodomized a young boy at the age of 7 years. And this guy has to struggle with his life to the extent that he did all he could to survive. But unfortunately, he went to meet our Creator. Imagine this bill was passed with these issues happening. This coach could have been arrested. But because we sent it to bill, we sent it to Parliament, and we are considering, what if this bill is passed and then the people supporting us tell us they are not going to support us because we've refused to come to the realization that we are not independent but dependent. And this bill has remained stagnant with this issue popping up. Innocent boys who knows nothing being sodomized by old men, and this case gets to nowhere. And only for Reverend John Intim Fojo to come out telling the president that, see, Mr. President, although you've passed the e-levy, make sure you pass the LGBTQ plus bill. Now, I don't have a problem with that. President Mahama has to declare his stance and as well pass this bill. But my problem was, you were also part of the committee as at that time when the bill was brought into Parliament. But you said nothing. We didn't see you pressuring the former president to pass the bill. Maybe you did and I didn't say it. So, in case he did and I didn't say it, please draw my attention to it. You never pressure the former president. Mr. President, you have to pass this bill because it's necessary. No, we didn't. You didn't as well. And now you are telling the current president that, see, you have to pass the bill. And as fast as you did to the e-levy. And Mr. President knows what to do. I mean, he is a listening president. And I'm sure this bill will be passed. Definitely, it will be passed. But the main problem, you kept quiet. You didn't talk. Were you afraid of the then president? Were you being intimidated as at that time? Excuse me. Was there padlock that was used to lock your utterances that made you kept quiet on this big matter, this big issue called LGBTQ plus I? And now that we have a new president putting in steps, putting in measures to ensure that things are right, this is the time the confidence is coming. This is the time, the energy, to tell the president of the next step to take. It's not bad. As I said, it's not bad. There is nothing wrong with it. But my only problem was that you kept quiet on this issue. After the bill was passed in parliament, you kept quiet. When the then former president didn't sign the bill to be passed into law. And these same people never cleared the air and told us the reason why this same bill that we see not to help the country and the people of this country, the reason why it wasn't being passed. And even some of the members of parliament in the then administration was even afraid to voice out that they are behind this bill called the LGBTQ plus I. And the energy is now coming up now. You have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do this. I think it's about time we have to be ashamed of ourselves and take certain things very seriously. We have to. And to Mr. President, please, this bill needs to be passed. It needs to be passed into a law. Because we don't see it. And this is not something that someone will come out outwardly to do it in public for you to see and arrest. Because it has already been frowned upon. But what we are saying is that this bill should be passed into law. Because a lot of innocent students, especially students, are falling as victims. And to Mr. Intim Fojo, well, some will say you are doing your best, but trust me, you are saying the right thing but at the wrong time. Thank you for making time with me on the Biz Girl.
Thank you for making time with me on Debbie's Grill. That was Debbie's Grill, where she grills people and not chicken or meat. That was a very good one. So up next, as for I myself, today in history and did you know? So without wasting much time, today in history and did you know, live on GhanaTalks breakfast show. April 4th is Independence Day in Senegal, a public holiday commemorating the nation's independence from French colonial rule achieved on April 4th, 1960. 2012 today in history, in Northeast Congress, African National Congress. In Northeast Nigeria, suspected members of a radical Islamist opened fire in a crowded market in Maiduguri, killed at least 7 people in an area protected by federal troops. African National Congress, insurgents launched a rifle, rocket and grenade attack on Boysens Police Station, Johannesburg. Pamphlets were scattered demanding the release of Walter Sisulu from Robben Island. 1962 in Mozambique, there was a plane crash. A total of 111 people riding aboard the British DC-7C airliner had lost their lives when it crashed. This tragedy occurred a little over a mile past the takeoff runway as it began its trip from Lourenço, Mozambique. 1980, Zimbabwe's Robert Mugabe won the election to become Zimbabwe's first black prime minister. In 1989, today in history, the South African government threatened to withdraw from the UN peace plan for Namibia, which was established to facilitate the country's transition to independence. Moving to some did you know for today. Did you know that cows are social creatures and form strong bonds with specific individuals in their herd? Over half of cows prefer to hang out with one specific individual, their best friend. When cows are isolated from their preferred companion, they exhibit signs of stress, such as elevated heart rate and cortisol levels. Cows who are separated from their social group but allowed to stay with their best friends are less distressed than cows who are separated without any of their friends. Did you also know that evidence published in Frontiers in Psychology shows that insects such as the honeybee and the European wasps use visual processing mechanisms that are similar to humans, which enable them reliable face recognition? Did you also know that honey never spoils? Honey is a sugar solution that is low in water, acidic, and contains hydrogen peroxide, which prevents bacteria and spoilage. Did you also know that avocados are fruits, not a vegetable? They are technically considered a single-seeded berry. So avocados, that is pear, they are fruits and not a vegetable. Did you also know that the human teeth are the only parts of the body that cannot heal themselves? That's because teeth are coated in enamel, which is not a living tissue. To our last did you know for today, did you know that there is actually a word for someone giving an opinion about something they know nothing about? Yes, an ultra-crepidarian is someone who voices thoughts beyond their expertise. Individuals who offer their thoughts and perspectives on a matter without possessing a solid understanding or sufficient qualifications to do so. This kind of behavior is often viewed as irresponsible and can lead to misleading or harmful opinions. So such people are called ultra-crepidarian. Ultra-crepidarian. And this is where I end today's Today in History. And did you know, live on Ghana Talks breakfast show. And also, this is where we end today's first segment of the Ghana Talks breakfast show live on Ghana Talks radio. But do stay tuned with us at exactly 8 o'clock. We will be having the morning news with Miss Debbie Adoso, and also the second segment with Madam Omare as well. Stay tuned.
What do you want for breakfast? How do you want your breakfast?
English breakfast, French fries.
Koko Nikosi, alo komi keshito.
Wache.
Well, Gobe is the real deal.
Join us on Ghana Talks Radio. Let's serve you a buffet of breakfast.
From news headlines review, current affairs to social issues.
Entertainment, sports, and all the trending stories live on our mobile app and across all socials from Monday to Friday 7 a.m. to 10 a.m.
With me, Pakwesi Omare.
Regina Bliss.
Deborah Adoso.
And I am Esinal Fiagbedu. This is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show.
Are you ready to amplify your business or brand's reach and make a meaningful impact in Ghana and beyond? Partner with Ghana Talks Radio today to connect with a diverse audience across Ghana and beyond. Elevate your brand through on-air promotions and social media. Boost your brand during prime time. With Ghana Talks Radio, you can extend your reach across digital platforms. Ghana Talks Radio is not just a station, it is a community hub where your brand becomes part of the conversation. Join us in fostering connections, celebrating culture, and making a lasting impression. For customized sponsorship packages and enquiries, email contact@GhanaTalksRadio.com or call +233 202 544614. Ghana Talks Radio, giving the youth a voice.
What do you want for breakfast? How do you want your breakfast?
English breakfast, French fries.
Koko Nikosi, alo komi keshito.
Wache.
Well, Gobe is the real deal.
Join us on Ghana Talks Radio. Let's serve you a buffet of breakfast.
From news headlines review, current affairs to social issues.
Entertainment, sports, and all the trending stories live on our mobile app and across all socials from Monday to Friday 7 a.m. to 10 a.m.
With me, Pakwesi Omare.
Regina Bliss.
Deborah Adoso.
And I am Esinal Fiagbedu. This is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show.
We bring you local news, business news, international, sports, and entertainment news. Right here on GTR.
Good morning and welcome to the morning news broadcast on Ghana Talks Radio. My name is Deborah Adoso. Coming up, Alliance and Social Equity and Public Accountant petitions Mahama to remove Ekriamwa Esiedu as Editor General. Former ECG boss Debate Mahama advocates for thorough search on missing containers. Global Info Analytics Survey exposes police, immigration, and judiciary as most corrupt institutions in Ghana. Government unveils ambitions plan to modernize agriculture. Interior Minister to deploy 24-hour fire brigades and market nationwide. There's and many more coming up shortly in the world of business, sports, and showbiz. Do stay with me. To our first story, the Alliance for Social Equity and Public Accountant has formally petitioned President John Dramani Mahama to initiate constitutional proceedings for the removal of Auditor General Mr. Johnson Ekriamwa Esiedu. The petition, filed on April 3rd at Jubilee House, cites allegations of high crime, misconduct, abuse of power, and constitutional violation. As a petition invoke Article 187, Clause 13 of the 1992 Constitution, which outlines the process for the removal of the Auditor General. The allegation against Mr. Esiedu include failure to comply with Supreme Court directives with the Audit Service Board to undermine parliamentary authority, unlawful retention of public funds, and abuse of discretionary powers. The Executive Director of ASEPA, Mr. Mensa Thompson, emphasized the gravity of the accusation, stating the petition marks the beginning of a constitutional process to the removal of the Chief Justice under Article 146. Moving to the next story, the controversy surrounding the alleged thefts of containers belonging to the Electricity Company of Ghana (ECG) has taken a new turn, with the former managing director of ECG, Dubik Mahama, expressing doubt about the containers being stolen, instead suggesting it may have been misplaced. In an interview, he emphasized the need for a thorough investigation to ascertain the true whereabouts of the containers. His comment comes amid allegations of several containers belonging to the Electricity Company of Ghana missing, sparking concerns of theft and corruption. The former ECG's boss call for a thorough search highlights the containers cannot be stolen, instead misplaced, emphasizing the importance of accountability and transparency in the management of public assets. Nonetheless, ECG has yet to comment on Mohammed's statement, but the development is likely to add a new layer of complexity to the ongoing investigation. That is what he has to say.
Let me reiterate this. A container cannot get missing. Wait, let me finish my point. A container cannot get missing. A container can only get misplaced or lost at sea. So there are laid down processes in every port worldwide. All I'm trying to say to you is that we need to have a diligent search, and everybody needs to assist in this. I haven't left this country. I am here. I want to assist because those containers contain critical materials that we need to intensify the network of ECG and also expand the work that ECG is doing. So for me to say almost it's not only an indictment. It's not only an indictment on ECG. There are 3 state institutions involved here. Let's not drop the ball at one doorstep and say, okay, this is where it sits and that is the end of it. No, not at all. If the containers had been delivered to ECG's warehouse, and then you find those same containers out there in the field, yes.
And that was from former ECG boss Muhammad Dubik. Moving to other story, a recent survey by Global Info Analytics has ranked the Ghana Police Service as the most corrupt public institution in the country. The poll, which assessed public perception of corruption across various state agencies, placed the Ghana Immigration Service and the judiciary in second and third place respectively. According to the findings, the Ghana Police Service received the highest corruption rating, scoring 6.43. The Ghana Immigration Service followed closely with a score of 5.86, whilst the judiciary was ranked third with a score of 5.78. These results highlight widespread concerns about corruption within key law enforcement and judiciary institutions in Ghana. The report underscores persistent public mistrust in these constitutions, which play crucial roles in maintaining law and order. The survey results indicate a pressing need for institutional reforms to restore public confidence. Moving on to the sector of agriculture, the government of Ghana, through the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, has unveiled an ambitious plan to modernize agriculture, aiming to boost food production, empower smallholder farmers, and make farming and fisheries a viable investment option. To achieve these objectives, the government plans to expand and improve agri-fishery areas to increase production, mechanize and modernize agriculture and fishing production system to improve post-harvest systems and infrastructures. According to the Ministry of Agriculture, the initiative is adopted for economic transformation agenda purposely to drive growth and modernization of the cultural sector with goals to boost agribusiness, secure food availability, mitigate food inflation, increase export revenues, and generate job opportunities to the Ghanaian youth. As part of its flagship program, the FEED program would be enrolled as a comprehensive program designed to implement all elements of the economic transformation agenda to promote agro-industry and create jobs. The Agriculture for Economic Transformation agenda aims to drive growth and modernization in the sector, aligning with the government's vision of structurally transformed economy.
Pressing issues. The government of Ghana, through the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, has adopted the Agriculture for Economic Transformation Agenda, (ITA). This initiative aims to drive the growth and modernization of the agricultural sector, with goals to bolster agribusiness development, secure food availability, mitigate food inflation, increase export revenues, and generate sustainable job opportunities for the youth of our country. To effectively realize this vision, MOFA is about to roll out the Feed Ghana program as its flagship program. This is a comprehensive program designed to implement all elements of the ITA. The Feed Ghana program is an integrated agricultural acceleration program to boost agricultural production, to feed Ghanaians, and provide raw materials for agro-industry and create jobs. These efforts are intended to ultimately ensure food security, alleviate inflationary pressures on food prices.
Moving on, the Minister for Interior, Muntaka Mumbarak, is set to roll out an initiative that will see the deployment of 5 brigades to monitor markets across the country on a 24-hour basis. The ministry revealed its plans to partner with the Ministry of Youth Development to release beneficiaries under the youth employment model who will be trained to help in fighting fire outbreaks. Meanwhile, fire outbreaks have destroyed major markets in parts of the country, with the latest incident being the blue light section of the Kumasi Central Business District. With the quest to reduce the fire outbreak, Muntaka Mumbarak stressed more efforts are needed to address market fires in the country. To the world of business, 92.3% of businesses in Ghana remain informal, with just 7.7% in the formal sector. This according to the Ghana 2024 Integrated Business Establishment Survey by the Ghana Statistical Service. The government statistician Professor Samuel Kobina Enim said these formal business fail to keep any formal accounts. The report further revealed over 1.2 million businesses were established between 2014 to 2024, with most recording low revenues annually. Also, 1/3 privately owned establishments in the services sector are formal, which is more than 6.0 percentage points higher than the shares of industry and agricultural sectors. The Ghana Statistical Service reports also show at least 55.0% of large-sized and medium-sized privately owned establishments are formal. However, more than 3/4 of privately owned establishments in the services sector, with those owned by non-Ghanaian having the highest proportion of 86.9%. Greater Accra has the highest proportion of privately owned establishments operating as formal, about 12.8%.
And I think the
to
two
some
matches
sports,
we have
former
played.
Minister for Youth and Sports Edwin Nilante Vanderpoy has raised concerns about the Black Stars' performance despite their back-to-back victories over Chad and Madagascar in the 2026 World Cup qualifiers. The Black Stars' recent wins have been impressive, with a convincing 3-0 victory over Madagascar and a 5-0 thrashing of Chad. However, Vanderpoy's comments highlight the need for improvement if Ghana hopes to make a significant impact in the World Cup. In an exclusive interview with Channel 1 Sport, the outspoken former minister questioned the overall quality of the national team, insisting Ghana's current squad is not up to the required standard. This is what he has to say.
And I think the two matches we have played so far doesn't give me any indication to the fact that there has been an improvement in the team, even though we've won those matches by wide score lines, even though we won those matches comfortably. I'm looking at the quality of play. Sometimes some coaches will say the result is what matters, especially in qualifying series like this. You say the result is what matters, but at the end of it all, you should also know that it's not just about qualifying, but it's about developing, improving your performance, your play, so that when you have qualified, people will have confidence in the team that this is not just a team that is also going to add up to the numbers at the competition, at the tournament, but this is a team that will give other countries a run for their money. You understand? So I am concerned about our performance as a team more than sometimes the result we get. And I will want us to build a team that will show resilience, that will show improvement, a team that will strike some fear in any country.
Moving to some showbiz, Ghanaian music sensation Black Sherif has released his sophomore album, Iron Boy, following the success of his debut album, The Villain I Never Was. The album showcases Black Sherif's storytelling, musical versatility, and exploration of themes that resonate with fans worldwide. Across 15 songs, Sherif positions himself as an unstoppable sonic outlaw, a potpourri of sounds ranging from highlife, hip-hop, Afrobeat, and soul-stirring melodies. Iron Boy cemented Black Sherif's place as one of Africa's most compelling voices. The album delves into a rich tapestry of emotions and experiences, tackling themes of love, resilience, personal evolution, and self-discovery. With each track, Black Sherif invites listeners into his world, narrating stories of triumph and unyielding ambition with his distinctive voice and evocative lyricism. As an artist known for his raw authenticity and defiant sound, Black Sherif continues to push boundaries, blending traditional Ghanaian rhythms with contemporary influences. Iron Boy promises a sonic experience that is both deeply personal and universally relatable, solidifying his evolution as a global icon in the contemporary African music. Iron Boy is where peak optimism and anxiety meet the notion of perseverance and secrecy, all coming together to build a self-supporting frame. Black Sherif shared, "Somewhere along the line, I got obsessed with my aspiration of getting the people to not see me as part an art maker who got noticed. I couldn't make it happen, so it let be. A sudden need to feel grounded came to shake up my whole frame, and so I plan to build harmony between every line of my thinking," says Black Sherif. This album is for everyone, finding their way, embracing their truth, and pushing against the odds. And that's how we wrap up on the morning news broadcast. Some headlines you heard was Alliance and Social Equity and Public Accountant petition Mahama to remove Ekriamwa Asiedu as Auditor General. Former ECG boss doubts container theft. Advocates for thorough search. Global Info Analytics survey exposes police, immigration and judiciary as most corrupt institutions in Ghana. Government unveils ambitious plan to modernize agriculture. Interior Ministry to deploy 24-hour fire brigades and market nationwide. 92.3% of businesses in Ghana remain informal. Ghana Statistical Service 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers. Black Stars wins don't show real improvement. Edwin Nilante Van der Poel. Black Sherif drops highly anticipated Iron Boy album. And that's it. My name is Deborah Adoso. Thanks for staying tuned. Good morning.
Are you ready to amplify your business or brand's reach and make a meaningful impact in Ghana and beyond? Partner with Ghana Talks Radio today to connect with a diverse audience across Ghana and beyond. Elevate your brand through on-air promotions and social media. Boost your brand during prime time. With Ghana Talks Radio, you can extend your reach across digital platforms. Ghana Talks Radio is not just a station, it is a community hub where your brand becomes part of the conversation. Join us in fostering connections, celebrating culture, and making a lasting impression. For customized sponsorship packages and enquiries, email contact@GhanaTalksRadio.com or call +233 202 544614. Ghana Talks Radio, giving the youth a voice.
What do you want for breakfast? How do you want your breakfast?
English breakfast. French fries.
Koko Nikosi, alo komi keshito.
Wache.
Well, Gobe is the real deal.
Join us on Ghana Talks Radio. Let's serve you a buffet of breakfast.
From news headlines review, current affairs to social issues.
Entertainment, sports, and all the trending stories live on our mobile app and across all socials from Monday to Friday 7 a.m. to 10 a.m.
With me, Pakwesi Omare,
Regina Bliss,
Deborah Adoso,
and I am Esinal Fiagbedu. This is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show.
Ghana Talks Radio, #1.
Good morning and welcome to Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. This is Ghana Talks Radio and you are live on our airwaves. My name is Pakwesi Omare and this is the weekend edition of the Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. Don't forget to join the conversation on all our social media platforms at Ghana Talks Radio. You can find us on Twitter, formerly known as Twitter, but now X. You can also get us on Facebook, on Instagram, and on TikTok. Our handles are at Ghana Talks Radio. You can also join the conversation on YouTube at Ghana Talks Radio. Also on our WhatsApp platform 0202 544 614 0202 544 614. The weekend edition is here. The week has ended. And we come your way with the last edition of the week. In the studios with me is my usual able gentleman, Mr. Dubi Gadip Stephen, social commentator and a political analyst. He's joining for the conversation today as usual. And also, surprise co-hostess for me today is Ohima Regina Bliss. Ni dimba akwechi mu debate memfa nka ho yesa ne timba ne da no pay wo mi show no so ba no ho ayefe say ne boyfriend say ne mama ne time so ne be ma foforo nko abonti no weekend you was can be our best pay now do him BPR. Just share our contact and I will release it to you with a fee.
Bataza.
So yes, there's a show. We are getting it underway. Don't forget to join the conversation. Let us hear your views, your comments, your suggestions, and we will get interactive. Dubik.
Yes, sir.
Adiachi and beam. Amen. Rana me home from still cry, but
say Enra make I say a lovely massage. We hear that a criminal on Zaka. Actions. Missing in the Okasaya, meetings and row. Who is your house come?
Ruta mixture na menumie.
As a wire. As a wire.
Yes, but baby aboko dear.
Yamiadum.
Yamias.
Say once one way. What's me about dear?
Oh, bad Reggie?
Yeah.
What's up?
I did like another day.
Nice. And the show no na ye fepa na ye de.
Oh, thank you.
Not her in the color near the
pink, and then say pink.
Okay.
Almost say pink.
There's a different shade.
Me, I'm colorblind, isn't
Yeah, but it's pink. It's actually pink. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a Pinky Friday for Regina. It's a Yogurt Friday for the big.
Maybe they're friends saying
yogurt.
Yes. So never quite miss you how.
When the producer, more 20.
Producer yogurt.
The same color, so it's a peach. I think
it is peach.
Yeah, peach and black. Wow.
I catch an one when she be my mention was a black.
Okay, so yes, that's where we get the conversations underway. And our first topic we're going to be looking at is a directive that was given by the president about 3 days ago. Now, one of the issues we have in Accra, which sometimes I think is the more reason why God kind of shows us mercy by not pouring the rains more often. Because he tell Accra, no to be any demand, they say, in so talk Accra. But Yankopon so sha so ton so ya enema etume deba no obetumi e ka ne fie be 3 days no ntumi mpie obetumi kwa adwuma na waka adwuma because ne fie aflade yo ntumi mba. And all these things we've been having this conversation about our drainage system in Accra for over a decade, for 20 years. Debia and so to Accra a flood.
You see, the problem with Accra is the lack of planning, and we have overpopulated Accra.
We have overpopulated Accra.
And then we didn't plan for the number of people who are going to come in by the virtue of making Accra the capital city and the economic hub of Ghana.
Okay. Everything
in Ghana is controlled by Accra. A broker now don't Accra, no. Nebo is controlled by Accra. You can see, say, when people are coming in, definitely they will need places to live.
Yeah.
They will need places to conduct business. But I'm planning chrono to accommodate that. Okay. So it became like a rush for space. Baby obia benyabiano, no in the BBSC. Once you see any local mankraro or what do they call them in Ghana, the chiefs.
Yeah.
One baby or pebia, onya who's a space the house for the NC.
Okay.
And there are places in Accra. Onama who's on nam come. Obi be any gator is sequano. When you be bound, so now one bedroom.
Oh really?
Yes, there are places in Accra. Onam on him say a quayon, or be a door net to say a sequano. Why didn't they say the door non the equine with you when you better know your bedroom near pile crom for. And then we have allowed the real estate agents to kind of destroy our land. What you say?
Yeah.
Say ohwe utu kwan kwa brocha. Krobia major city bia no ewo lands. Reserve land for farming.
Okay.
Yeah, they a feedy major city no. Inti they don't in as much as say in crass or your door food bano. You will need free a bank chronos why they den. Eba chrono.
Okay.
To say Accra how per board there. Eastern region na abekwa for free and Volta region.
Yeah.
Accra asa na nkasa asa. Because you develop ya ko duru kaswa. You develop ya ko kam ai amasamai. Okay, you develop ya duru dodowa. Ti asa na yeden. Asa. In policy when it comes to real estate, I think that instead say you could try asase wo wurem.
Yeah.
Edema real estate for no. Emo musidan no. Let us bring them back to the main or the older part of Accra, like Awoshi, Teshi, what do you call it, Osu, and the suburb, like the ghettos.
Yeah.
Yeah, more money asasi we ani ifira for no. Any agreement. I'm building a 10-story house, a 20-story building. Oh, asasi we ana ye je wasasi, and as a family na ye jo masasi esi na also no. You be more maybe 2 floors. Whatever you do with it, it's your business.
Okay.
What the be your apartment now? What they are my rent or wasama. What the be your stores? What the be your banking halls now? They are my hire wasama.
Okay.
So if we are able to do this, baby, I am planning crony. You know, when the real estate agents come in, they will work with the town and country planning agency, and then they redevelop this area to the extent that baby, I ne was a gata yanye baby. Baby and so far be the dine kosi ho and also be the structure be kosi ho no real estate company in the back no baje ho no develop here. The town and country planning service will tell them that a high insu nti munye gata entwa and I say munja space and man so no nemfa. You get it?
Yeah.
But one aspect of this whole thing is that yeah nyana and then the political will to even demolish people's building. The political will to develop demolish people structures, it's not there. So if a government comes in power, na unya sorry say or ye be pe jai we say party ni belusu. And Henry Cote suffered that thing in Accra when he was the regional minister.
Okay.
He started a fantastic job trying to do a lot of things. But it could be actually no. You say oh yeah, a party belusu. And you see no Adwasafo came out to bash him for it. Say or say any papa bus terminal.
Yeah.
So was that bus terminal at a place where it was blocking the drain?
It wasn't at a place it was blocking a drain, but I used it as an example.
Okay.
How party influences these kind of decisions.
Okay.
You get it? Where it was a government land, but it wasn't blocking any drain.
Okay.
And the government said they needed their land. So what can you do? You just have to leave. But there are places in Accra like Jowulu. Do you know the meaning of Jowulu?
No.
Jowulu means valley in the Ga. Ask anybody. It means valley. Intina tembi ensuo yiria ensuo ta e yiri wo ho bebre no. Because it's a valley. The water coming from here, water coming from there, converge there. So what could we have done in Jowulu? Created bigger drains. Even though we know that people will live there, but let's construct bigger drains to accommodate all the water that comes in. But we didn't do that. And go to Jowulu right now and see how people are developing the area.
Yeah.
And the Jowulu nyasa space baby cranto. Look, go there. And we are letting them do it without factoring all these things in. And 10 years to come, you will think you live in a plush area in Jowulu, but in Suta it be Yirafau. So I think that the president ordering them to demolish these things is the step in the right direction.
But it is the step in the right direction. But what would you say, or how would you ensure that the government's directive is enforced effectively and avoid re-encroachment? Because we know Ghanaians, they will say "Omuni baby or more kotna."
It is the DC's job, the district chief executive there, the assembly there. It is their job to make sure that after they demolish these structures, people don't re-encroach.
Okay. But do you think that it's in the best interests of government to make provision for them to relocate.
Relocate to where?
I don't know.
Make provisions to who?
The
What
people
of
who have built.
compensation?
You see, Meba.
Yeah.
You see, Mama man legitimize crime. What we are doing right now is trying to legitimize crime.
Okay.
You see, say unya baby na. Wakwa kosi o chaos asinsuom. Me asidan asi baby. Esan se nsuo nya baby mfa no abese me nema. Abu me dan wo anase awura me fie. Obi nso betimi aka se ekom de me nya aduane ni. Intime ba be wiawo akodidi eno ebone anase nya bone.
Bonnie.
So the fact that unya baby intana no doesn't mean say kokosi udansi nsuo kwam anase kokosi udansi baby a enye lawful. You get it? And senka yen nyina me ye ni ensase akese wa cry. Ke kwa anka stadium wo ho.
No akwesi.
Na makwa space kakraka, na makwa kwesi nanim ho. National cathedral yo moja na ho. Nanka me dimika me say hallelujah. Manya baby a mesi me dan. Na makwa kutwa asase na me pe na mesi me dan. But it doesn't work that way.
But don't you think it's the fault of the landlords? Because these landlords know specifically that this is a waterlogged area, but yet still they buy that land, sell to other people, and even build on it and rent out to people.
You see, you cannot build a house in Ghana without a permit.
Okay.
When you go to the district assembly, you go there, tell them I want to build this house. You present them with your plan. Plan now person will sit down. When Baba was assassinated, will sit down also say I am pa. Baby a person will sit down, and then we will see what's what in Viringo. They have engineers who does that. They have engineers who knows that your planning had a quite to her as we will be sit down also your school. You eat to say the bay school, you eat to say the bear market. But the assembly, the people at the assembly will take bribes. These are the civil servants. They are not politicians. So they will take bribes when you go, oh, me person, oh, peka krabra na kokusi. Then they will charge you like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 cedis and let you go and do.
So in that case, who do we fault in all this? Because let's say I buy my land, I want to build. A layman, I don't know about any drainage something. Yeah. The DCs, as you put it, are supposed to make sure these things are protected. Our drainage areas are protected. Nobody says anything. I go ahead, build my house or whatever, and then government, who the DC is working for to make sure I shouldn't have built here, then comes with a directive that my building should be demolished and all without any compensation.
Did you go for a permit when you're building your house?
You just put it right here that nobody can build without any permit.
So I'm asking you, did you take a permit when you were building that house?
If the person took a permit,
and even let's ask ourselves, you going to take a permit when you want to build, is it even still in existence?
Yes, it is.
If
government gave me that permit and I have built, and today the same government is coming.
If the government gave you the permit and you built, and that same government says I'm going to destroy it, then you use that permit, go to court and get your compensation.
Okay.
And untina ye kwang. Now first baby I would see no and kakwan no ho a na ye bugua ye ma compensation. Do you know that?
Yeah, I know.
These are the reasons why you must go for permit. The permit is to safeguard your property, just in case the government want to encroach or something happens. What did I say? Now one get permit, and as you found your way around the permit. Got yourself in a position to build the house. Now if you are some bani be bugua, why not? You see, this problem is not just a political problem or a civilian problem. A idea, was say, yen yeti say, or mine no sign ye pesi a church no. Okoyana, aquana say, oh, me, but cocosin sano, deba some no busa aquano. You should ask questions. And to me, cosin sano, be ba. Krataben, I made the bachelor say, medan or permit. So let me go through the right process. And do you know what the problem is? Civil servants na wo na wo politicians no because o mo pese o mo use kanti. What they open so go through the right processes. It takes you months, sometimes years now on can permit. So you the individual you be frustrated. Then any mama come on kakra. na yen have a way around the permit in the You get it? So this problem, you cannot just attribute it to one person. It's a systemic failure, which is not just on the part of the politicians or on the part of the people. System
Okay.
But would you agree with me that when these people are evacuated from the land, especially waterlogged areas, they would be homeless? You do agree with me on that? Why not create a huge drainage system that the water will channel through that place rather than evacuating all these people? As a baby, I'm that's so on.
Say, oh, hi, or dying. No, 2 years.
Yeah.
No 2 years, no, so no needs to be what happens to you.
You be too.
And to a month's long time, so you be too. You see, I beg you. You see, a day when ye idea, I was say, ye day, I say,
but we need to empathize with them.
Empathize with who? Exactly. Nipa na wire boneno. Ne boni awaye nti ama the consequences has gone to somebody else. Imagine say circle. I mean Kayaman for y'all. The June says fires. Obi na man na yeah. Nka would you have sympathy for that person? And I say the encroachment that we've had over the years. Look at the number of lives you lost. Somebody lost his investment petrol station, fuel station. And now who could do what? That place is still blank. It was somebody's investment. So because I will pay baby doesn't mean say your right to shelter should be like entrenched on somebody's right to having a property. What I say? Who pay baby and this essay will be
okay.
Then I would also say the government needs to provide shelter for these people. That is why we have the affordable housing project. But yes, to be a
project.
My dear, you see, government.
Yeah.
Is not supposed to do certain things for you. There are certain things you have to do for yourself.
Okay.
American, like I say, their country is developed to the extent that the government would go and give shelter to the homeless and all that. Everybody in Accra, except the people in the gangs, will be a Accra be a onion cranino, free baby.
Back.
If Accra is uncomfortable for you, if you don't have a shelter over your head, then life in Accra, no, what is it all about?
Okay, but have we also looked at this option? You made a strong point that Accra is very overchoked. Mainly because we made it the capital city
without
so
planning.
Brought everything here without planning. Is it not time for us to expand some of these things? Look at the industries we have. People migrate, as we see, baby because of job. In particular, it's because of job. And you're quite taken up a suit. A person of Shapua or bet to man who TV Sukurana one day be a Beshana Wako. But Obi Wako school, a Jumo Benya, and maybe a crown Obina. Why not government? Look at these things. The reason for all this rural urban migration, urban rural migrations, and young for money being called these places.
Okay. Industry. Industry. Thrive on what? Easy access to market. Easy access to raw material. Where is our biggest port in Ghana?
Tama.
In the industry, to say farmer, free Accra, no the Kumasi. Transporting the raw materials now free abrochino from Accra to Kumasi is additional cost. Car no crown or they transported dairy from Accra to Kumasi. No, bit me I say or council. I'm a dairy no. I say I'm an aboka. You get my point? You see, and I'm a kind. Say real estate agencies can help us solve these issues.
Okay.
Aoshi, where I live, that area. Say, we see, area no what do you call it? Edantia ene wo ho.
Okay.
Edantia be 500 wo ho a ye betimi asi story building in just 2 plots of land near the 500 ni nyina bam. What happens to the spaces na aka? We make room with that. But real estate for no enim say o musi sa dan no ye no 2 bedroom 1 bedroom na emma ni sika a openo to be kwa kwaji asase wo dodo wa obekwa akwaji asase wo ye friend saying Ebri Legon Hills ni ade na wadwiri edan enua ne enema e wo ho nyina agu na wasi luxury houses na sika for na kwa akoto $2 million $3 million
esisi onso omuntu
ohwe 250 cities and 500 cities a month no what they heading enso no. And one thing about the thing is that one lawn grass I do na form no, it is a natural sieve. And say obi asi ni fie wi ano a pavement.
Yeah.
Nti no to a good pavement no so a it goes. But so do lawn na nsuo no to a it sinks in. Instead of flowing out, it sinks in. But Sanyama we nyina no sabio your town and country planning for no, they will not even add it to requirements say we will be sidan. Do you think it is out of foolishness and a bruni esi fie wi a oye walkway ne ketwa na waye loan won chen ne nchen se na be nsuo na etogu asase no so no en betwim fa kwan no so obroni nyansan mu no sa na oye no bibini betimi asua ye ba onye. Look at our villages. Oka se nsuo nto ho. Adenti na nsuo ni nyiri mfa omo in our villages. Because the vegetation is still there. Yen say vegetation no.
Okay.
And okwa kurase ye nim say aha ben nsuo. Yen kosi dansi ho. Ye be ja ho ama nsuo no. Ba akra de desperation to make money and desperation to find places to live inti. Ye kwa baby ebenya bi si dan asi.
What can government do?
And one of
cases?
They should start demolishing. They should start demolishing properties. Where there's one place at Abeka. Street unim say a high street in Kaha. See no almost here a year plan no Kaha street. Or Kabrania could see the sea. Fin. And so that they see one you know it has been there for ages. Anybody that knows Abeka very well, Udru, what do you call it? Adom Junction. No, Gremias Oko Harvest Chapel. Oko Nimka, there's a sharp curve. There's a rough road on your right. Offers a rough road, no so. Oko Nimka Krana, Nka, and can also a Kwakusi Fadama. Basa was sit there, Sequanum. Quena since you drew her a close, Uko drew a wajina, Uni baby Akobim, it heads into somebody's house. Wow. And you think that we should have sympathy for this kind of people? No, we shouldn't. Now, just in case, if there's fire, and you jumbo in a jato, if you be more actually, never say about Fahokudum Jana. What happens? Your right to have to live in to have certainty. What block somebody's right else to have a property and now to access a service to fire service?
But you see, in all these issues we are discussing that we need to also look at the fact that they feel that this is our land. We have to we want to utilize it. However,
feeling doesn't matter when it comes to law. Why being assassin or but once I'm a Ghanaian, assassin there. That's why the constitution places no, the constitution places the lands into the hands of the government. Wouldn't mean because I have properly acquired it. What I say? You see, you've properly acquired it. You see, as it stands now, Okoto assassin now call a land commission quiet assassin on Kata. Assassin in your You are giving the land for a number of years.
Yeah.
They say it's more of a lease. Something.
99 years is the limit you can go.
Yeah.
So it means after 99 you have to.
If you have to redevelop, if you want to redevelop, you have to go there for another permit, another lease. And I'm catching say assassin. Why do you say by a Ghana for you there? Assassin Ghana no. Once you are a citizen of Ghana, assassin Ghana no. So based on who wishes indeed, Enisa me the essay. And until now, pass I say I was off a quine passo. Now, yes, ye baby, a ye papa at the amount. People build these houses knowing very well, say baby, a missy dancing, can you say missy dancing here? It is a minimum, they know very well, say baby, a missy dancing, a missing can missy dancing here, and so quabrani missy dancing.
But I personally feel that not all houses should be demolished.
What do we do to them?
Because there are better ways we can go about this. With this drainage system, I would use Antieku for example. Just yesterday, we went to cover a story day. Now, people's rooms are really flooded. And according to what they are saying, the drainage system was done, I think that was last year. And according to them, the contractor did not channel the water well. And bano. Why drainage into a buffer so almost say even though no one bambe yes no, it wasn't like that. The rooms were not flooding to that extent. But to the moment they came to do it, now everything has changed. So I feel that a better option can be done rather than demolishing
I'm not saying that every house that gets flooded should be demolished. Sometimes
but it's in a waterlogged area.
Okay. The directive itself is that all the buildings or houses
in
blocking
the waterways, you see,
should be
sometimes
demolished.
Your house wouldn't flood.
Okay.
But because somebody else has blocked the waterway, and no directing to near them about nipa na block waterway na make say net down there, we shouldn't have mercy on it.
Okay.
And for the example you just made, the constructor can be recalled to redo the drains.
Okay.
And it shouldn't be at the cost on the people. It should be at the cost on the contractor, because as a contractor you need to have engineers who will plan, who would survey the area and see baby you did drainage in it to ebeboa and as affect you. And in this case the contractor didn't do that. So what do we have to do as a state? We have to record the contractor, tell him say moska I be but it's inconveniencing people. So redo the drainage in a way that it will not inconvenience people. You get it?
Yeah.
In as much as there are special circumstances, we must deal with the ones that are glare, that are obvious. Obisi dancing in you kwamwa. Sad ni panemi ni messy man, because if you make us in you for near since you have family mother. Issue, you understand? I watched what do you call it? A video, and it's now a meme on social media. The guy was a stammer. You get it? And
I've seen that.
And the water. Can you and Kios go? So imagine what that guy will go through. Also, we're doing, and the party be friend is there. Is when I find a kill. And the other. Can you and Kios go?
God have mercy.
Oh, John.
This is funny but sad.
Very
you see that thing? So people like that are the people I was sympathize with. Obia enka onye hwe nemum obi ni negligence and I say na dwen boninti and I say in the sense of entitlement inti amana kwako affecting nipa bisa. You get it? There are people are omo da abonten wa akra ha say enzo to a o be gina omo na so sa ma de ache. Just because obi akwa kosi a dan asi ensuo mu. Nti baby a oda no ya abonten na ode mosquito net asen ho no. Ensuo akofa wonte wo so gina ho no ode ne bag bonobo no gina ho sa. You see, the first time I came to Accra, that was years ago. And my name is boss kofa circle. Nti at that time there was no bridge. There was no
Dubai.
No, there's nothing. It was just a roundabout where Adiasa, and then we were going home. And therefore we were walking to get a car. And you would see say stores, nanim shops, nanim bottle, kakra gugu. So I asked him in the ball and I said, well, like share. So you can imagine what people are going through here in Accra. What the Urabotonuma, no, the Kataniti, no, or the how. Of course, no, the how. And the Obiko see in Sue, Obiko see dine see in Sumua. Now be cheerful, no, na, said the only baby put out or struggle to earn a living just because you see, and it will interest you to know that when one sees other anything in Zukwam, no one here for. They are rich men. When this guy won't mean see down won't assume. You have to fill the land to a certain level and so what you
Sure.
A poor man can never build in a waterlogged area.
Yeah. But so shouldn't we rather advocate for a state consensus between governments, between the real estate people as you suggested, or even private investors who would somehow, some way will be interested in putting up structures as you mentioned earlier. Maybe go to Awoshi, look at these structures.
I was saying a law that if you are a real estate agent, that's what you should do.
Okay.
We should make it a law that real estate agents are not allowed to acquire new lands.
Okay.
Say individual, no me uska, na me kwa koto as just one plot, 2 plots be or a room ho baby that's okay. But real estate in there will be registered as a real estate agent company. And our real estate company, let me put it that way, shouldn't be allowed to go to the bush, the dodowa and all that to acquire new lands and build. Most then will room ho. Ghana Crown, your friend is saying, we don't have efficient transport networks. Look at when you're coming from that Dodowa area.
Yeah.
Traffic will be diso and so on be through Accra. And the nipa no kwato dan no kosi dan si ho na nipa na be tokra no a. So la obese atana main city Accra o. On kwata na obekọ okra be weekend. No okọ weekend. And what is the sense, what is the point in building those buildings there when you can bring it to the trenches in the middle of the town? Build it. Allow people madam no bo anyafo. Hwe edan ya de a esi ho na ambubu anhye na edi 50 years kura na e kana obo na dan so no obeti.
Okay. So it should be a law rather than
it shouldn't be something we should be pampering people. You see, these real estate companies are making money for themselves, and then they are inconvenient. Look at the Aburi Mountains. Now here, sir, Dodowa enclave, sir, mountain na track a hoshia in between Dodowa and what do you call it? A crouton or what is the name of that? No, you see, Dodowa is this side, the mountain is that side. Then there's a town. I think it is a crouton or something.
A crouton is all part of the mountains.
Indeed, if you look at that area, in Shono, say yes, you see down. There's no like vegetation there to cover. Indeed, say a dressy wa in Shono ba root no, a boabo annuano na in Shono akachiri na sink into the earth. Say yes, sit down honina. A honina will be seen down a pavy aye few hotels into Shono to it comes down directly into your or from her. So there's no cover for Shono free mountain, so banina, so it comes straight into Accra. And Muntina Accra, I started air flooded most recently 10 years, 20 years ago. You weren't hearing these things.
Okay.
20, 30 years ago, you weren't hearing these things because that time no na or mine yen you get it. We allowed certain things to be, but they say say ye pesika ntino yen been bibia ho bi, we just go into places, do whatever we want and then get our money and we are out.
Okay. All right. Reggie,
Yeah.
the big says that he believes it should be more of a law rather than just stakeholder conversation to pushing people to do something that is infringing on the rights and convenience of other people. Do you also think it should be a law?
I think that it's being a law, dear. Yeah, it should be a law, but
Okay.
I feel that this demolition of a thing, no, they should.
But you know, the whole thing is also that, as the big said, if we keep pampering these people, this issue is always going to be. And when it floods, we lose lives.
Yeah.
People's businesses and investments are all draining
So
away.
why not mix shit next with flexibility?
How?
People really
How
beat me today.
how do you suggest we mix the strictness with flexibility? In what
So
way?
as I was saying that it's not necessary for them to demolish these people's housing.
So
As he
what
said,
will
when
they
he came to Accra first, obi she sak protokum and awada. It's not nice. It's sad.
What's the next fear? I see baby and so okay. What's the so
And they won't abai ensi dan emai. Jamaica not say abai ensi dan emai. Then they should rent it out affordably.
But that's what Dubik is okay. But I don't know about buying cow. But then if the real estate people would rather take that opportunity.
And no bedding.
Me say Ghana hire it here.
If the government makes it a law,
Ghana hire it.
controls the prices.
Just imagine, say, this real estate agency build affordable shelters in the middle of Accra. For one of that they should pay 50 cedis a night, or even 20 cedis a night to sleep. 20 cedis a night to sleep.
Sikanka Nkrofu will be young. But they are not looking.
Yeah.
Well, Ghana, we are so greedy. Tell me, I pesicam
20 cedis a night to sleep. You know, to say a hostel, right? And a boarding house. And panic to what
15 a room.
Na ye lockers. Say they buy a nipa na ba then na de kwasha no atum no de nsafo a hye ne botom no ada. Ade chi a okubia no de what the safo na koja reception no okọ. So person order bi ma, you make a reservation, you pay. Now ko oba ye ja room ama no ye ja bed amount. Utua na assigning to a bed, maybe dom 52.
Yeah.
Order a
second bed and
bed 10A. 10A near form. And pa okay 1 2 3 the 10 bed A near form B and near to also C. Sir, imagine the kind of money that you're going to make in this town.
Yeah.
You see, sometimes Ghanaians refuse to think, and we, those who can think, don't also have money to implement our thinking. There is people who don't think, oh. But ye na ye ni bi no. Ye nyesika ye dwene wie ye nyesika na ye de be saade no. Imagine a real estate company decide that I want to do this, build 10 hostels in Accra. I be have it like say 50 rooms. 10 hostels no 50 rooms na saying 500.
Yeah.
Out of every room there no, me them pa 5 besim ni nyina beto aso 3. Nti room bia no eteki nipa saying 15. 15 times 500 they saying. Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah, calculation.
And so
15 times 500 they saying.
But then, I mean, it's a good call. It's a great call, which
That
if
is 7,000.
people are going to look at.
Now let's multiply that 7,500 by 20 cities.
By 20.
They're saying
150,000.
multiply that by 365 days.
365
Days.
Wow, 54,750,000.
That's how much you're going to make in a year.
Yeah.
That's how much you're going to make in a year if you decide to build 10 hostels with 15 in a room each, with every hostel having 50 rooms. That's how much you're going to make in a year.
54 million.
Yes, this is how much you're going to make in a
Would that be
year.
going to the government or the real
No,
estate?
then
Then it means the government also can take up this initiative.
Then the government can now also take tax from this. Income tax, everywhere.
Okay.
Property tax, everywhere.
Okay. I mean, it makes sense. I hope that they are listening to us. They should take this opportunity and, make some dollars out of the inconvenience.
Yeah, we free business business idea.
You can only get it on GhanaTalks Breakfast.
Of course.
Free. Business consultation.
Investment. Now,
Charlie. Yes. So yes, moving on to the next topic. Last week, the fight against Galamsey took a funny turn somewhere in Enchi.
Yes.
The Forestry Commission seized some excavators from some illegal miners in the forest in Enchi. These people took it to court, and the court ruled against the Forestry Commission and told them to return the excavators to the people and give them the right to move the excavators to wherever they want to. And also the cost of moving the excavators should be borne by the Forestry Commission. It's fueled a whole lot of controversial opinions in the public. And then just some few days ago, yesterday or 2 days ago, the court comes back to say they think they made the wrong call on the judgment. So
red flag.
But what exactly is going on in our courts, in our judicial system?
No, you see, let me just say this. Did any of them appeal the decision?
No, I don't think so.
Was there an appeal?
I think there was.
There was no appeal. Okay, court on who? When was I even there or I said Tana or the board and so
yeah.
Huh? Judge Kasabi, you know this. I am mra. It is law. If you want to change that, you have to appeal. I understand that court didn't even have jurisdiction over the matter.
So why then did they rule over the matter?
You see, if a court rule on a matter without having jurisdiction on the matter, what you do is that you take it to a higher court to quash the decision of the lower court. The court itself cannot come back and say, "I'm not a boy." What was the basis for the ruling you first gave? So if I were the judge who sat on that issue, I would have just called the Forestry Commission or whoever represented them, tell them that I made a mistake. I'll just call both parties together, tell them I made a mistake. I didn't even realize I didn't have jurisdiction over this matter, but I just did. So what I can do now is that tell you to go to court, go to the appeals court or a higher court. If it is a circuit court, you go to the high court. If it was a high court, you go to an appeal court. So you can get the decision quashed. Even if you want me as a witness, I'll come there and be a witness for it.
But should the judge make a mistake in the first place?
That's the issue. Nobody knows what went on in his head.
Because you need to pay critical attention to these things.
This thing is not just about the judge. The registrar who even scheduled the issue must be questioned. You know the court now what you want only jurisdiction over the matter.
Over such a matter.
But there's only by now you two now so we court tenancy. Judge no so who say we need jurisdiction of the matter. And about to the
so if the Forestry Commission hadn't filed a motion against the order, Nanka Nessa.
The Forestry Commission filed a motion against the order. Okay, if they did file a motion against the order there, then I think no, that one cry you can't say it's an appeal, was it?
No, I don't think that's an appeal.
I don't have the full details of this issue because I've been busy with exams and all that. So share that I'm sure we know. But the thing is that say Forestry Commission say it might be injunction na first and as a motion being a the other people took, or the owners of the excavators took to court to be heard ahead of the substantive matter. One say a case within a case. Me no quarter. You the assembly do by na me the motion be aba. Maybe this and this happened. Let's do this before we continue. It be me aba. If that was not the case there, then the judge really erred.
Okay. Let me give you how the case went. We have a forest here. There's a forest.
With that, I understand.
Okay.
With what happened, I get it. But I'm talking about the details of the issue in court. I don't know what was filed in court.
Okay, so the Yamba Semena excavators near Media. Medical court say wo wa beji me excavator. And a court
says men for excavator.
Okay.
Let me ask.
Men sign
I get it now. Let me ask this question. Enti Oma order no. Edi how many days and so sign back abe question on one or in the order?
I think is it 5 days?
And what if his order had been already enforced?
That's the thing. Okay, so omo order no file a motion against that order. And it's the same forestry commission.
So the basic an injunction or a stay of an execution on the order.
For that one, I don't know. All I know is that they filed for a motion against the order.
In situation like this, what you do is that you file a stay of an execution whilst you file the order. You file the motion to quash the decision. If you don't file a stay of an execution, then you have to execute the order given by the court.
So probably that's what they did.
Okay. But this whole thing, when I heard the story, I was scared. Because I asked myself, what is our court becoming?
Yeah. In fact, in Kawase, omo buyer, omo victims of illegal mining. Crowd courts no crowd was saying
you need to arrest them.
You see, sometimes na emrano ho to be fair to everybody. Emrano ho to protect freedom and justice. You get it? Yeah. In as much as say yakwachene de na ba no ese wo your friend is saying illegal miner no doesn't automatically make him a criminal.
Yeah.
I was say bie nsem no e ba mu ne hwe the evidence adduced ne the testimony given by other people and say aka say ampa wo mo ye illegal miners. What was a day like? Why was the judge in a rush to release their excavators? Based on a day na judge no hu yenti I was say excavators na mom. A day na judge no hu.
Allegedly, I feel it all boils down to corruption. It's either they've been settled. But
so our cause can be settled now.
Na ye ni ha na man for jimponje. When do you hear? No, Nigana. I feel no about
no, but this is serious.
You see, the whole judgment, the whole ruling doesn't make sense. Say yeah, the obia babe see me. Say my gin fidi. Huh?
Because
me say illegal miners. They will say they are mining legitimately.
Okay.
But Forestry Commission for also say my bonny. What you do is that you listen to this side and listen to that side.
Okay.
Say asemono unyanti asie ya, you can defer the issue.
Okay.
But you can say, oh, asemono nka wose me buanende. But I don't have understanding of the matters. So give me a week, a month to go and consult.
Okay.
Ja machines ni si ho, my machines no be e wona. Go consult. Call people. Call other judges, call lawyers. Chirechiro asemono no mo an interpretation of their opinion. Because we did not remember. But I've been be it will run through all the opinions you've gathered. Then you know say that is the right one. You don't just jump because say like illegal miners. Say illegal miners in Timonfa Munfidi mom. And then go be bomb ko do say me your be dinam ka me nya konfon. Ka so jam me ko. Obehena this same judge wa jelly obi for stealing banche. Obehena wa jelly obi for so obi eburu. Eburu nya so obi adodo obi na okwawe. na sikafo ne ba de a na why omu yodium wo monko to aso.
It makes no sense at all. Like
me, I cannot say something exchange hands. But say anybody who says that will be right to say it. You get it? Send a blessed kind. So okasa me begrudge na me nka so oboa.
Yeah.
Because any was your tenancy boa semino one take the interest of the nation into consideration.
That's the thing.
Consideration. Now tenancy na say monfa monfidie nko. Did you even ask what they were using the machine for? Did you ask where the machines were found? And what one as a lawyer, no, as a judge, no, because you were a lawyer before you became a judge. What as a judge, no, that's your conscience tell you that it is okay if people destroy our forest. That's your conscience tells you it is okay. And according to the order. Osan ka say mo mun treli wo mo the machines ne mo 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 mun ni o ma chikura ahwe bebi the machines ne ko. What kind of stupidity is this?
Amon fa ko
bebi am pe bia mo fa ko.
Eh. E dey order ni. Dey be ruling ni. I not judge ni bu afu forestry for na.
Say me judge na enka ne enka me resign. Ene adwuma na kama jai. Me for chief justice adwuma mi ntimi nye bi. Nka law kra me practice law bi. Me kwa ko pe bojua bia say iron rods na me kwa ko ton ma kwa ko pe iron rods aton. How can you be a lawyer and then think this way?
So this case takes us to our judicial system. Do you think our judicial system, they are independent?
You see, there's no state institution I wait me I say they are independent.
Okay. Why? Is it because they are being appointed by mostly political leaders and all that?
I prefer fairness than independence. Okay. I prefer that you are fair with me. Means you see hey. Bless offense you know. Many bless a chin. What you have also we independent. You must be fair. And I catch a bless a what they are. Fana de mano. That's how our judicial system should be.
Okay.
They should be fair to all manner of people. That is the oath they swore before they became judges. It shouldn't be like the law or fairness or justice shouldn't be like a commodity that is sold. And this is you should make our legal and justice system in a way that even a madman can go in there and get justice
fairly.
Said you'll be an argument now correct me raho. Now I need justice no ko. So share about them nina obana suma. He should be able to take you to court.
Yeah.
And the court will tell you say you assaulted the madman. It shouldn't be say oh madman started close. And I will suit entire baby generality. You are the right one, but them need the argument a canonty uncle.
Okay.
And you see our political system, we are dang. We will get a political inclined people as judges. Our public sector had been divided on political lines since Kwame Nkrumah time. And yet, Kwame Nkrumah no say judge buasem na enkoye mana no timi sake a chief justice for it. You get it?
Yeah.
And every time now because the judicial system and our public sector has been divided on party lines. Oko judicial system the president and appoint you you should put a system in place or more be promote you more. Still I'll be make judgment on based on the party affiliation. I say the love he has for his party.
Wow.
That one you can never run away from it. Oko a US Supreme Court. It is clear. Yes, we a Democrat aligned judge. Yes, we a Republican aligned judge. Ewo baby But at the end of the day, you must be fair. You shouldn't be said because we are a Democrat and I say Republican and I say we are NDC and I say we are NPP ninety. Say James Akratwaba.
Yeah.
James and our conduct election. On Okratwaba. The only electoral commissioner means that one to buy a friend saying Papa Afarijan. For him, I know he didn't vote. And Kofotu at a time in what do you call it? NPP primaries. One Twaba because he said he wanted to be fair with everybody. On person of the Twaba, I say Okotoma can be a national candidate. Akufo Addo between Canada, Japan, but me I saw Okotoye. Otoye. Free more parinum in Atoye. Justin Kudu Otoye and so on and they organize. Stephen Intim Otoye. And so on and I organize it. So whatever you do in these situations, you can never get rid of political element in our judiciary. What we must preach right now is fairness. And for party in Chichiri wanim, and for religion in Chichiri wanim, and what I say because as soon as you when you're my religion, believing in my religion, and I say, free me party, and I say, free me chromunti. And I saw only me chrome ninety, and I say me chrome for no only chrome for 170. And I say, me ya brand here now, me person me wire no, me call fire baby free in the tribe, and you see em penny my men wire ninety. Me bogu so. You must be fair. What time for crab you know when him na asem ye da, kase na asem ye den, de.
Okay.
That's the kind of judicial system we should preach for and advocate for. And yet, judicial system as politicians any influence. I know the way then politicians will have influence.
Okay.
Now, James say with this reversal of a case, it would have a future impact on illegal mining issues, especially some what they call quota.
They say we are correcting it wrong. What did I say? They say Judge Nankarankasa are correcting it wrong, whether it was lawful or unlawful. Okay. He has corrected his wrong. What now we have to do is that, say illegal miners nepa, they can also now go to a high court and say that, Ebia, what they can rule here we near waka na waka. Unja intimi mo echi me sign. Na high court na ka say, or who can say oye ni oye na na say oni who can say oye ni oye no. But as of now, young challenges are decision ne there. The decision we would assume is valid. What I say, that is the reversal. We will all assume that it is valid until it is being reversed. So, in as much as people will look at these things and would want to do the same thing, so yeah, we are correcting now. So, if you also do, it will be a blot on your own name. What I say, if you are a judge, now create the same thing, because will be the kind of be that say a bony din and bones would.
Yeah.
And one thing about lawyers and judges is that they care about their reputation more than everything. Most judges are minimum. They are not corrupt. They cannot be corrupted. But there are a few of them are quantified upon man obeji. And what they are.
Let's just hope that our judicial system gets sanitized from all these unlawful rulings. Let me put it that way, because some of these rulings that we hear from them, it's questions reason. It really questions reason.
Of course, if you look at certain things that certain people do, in our courts, what can I say? It won't be to me. Can I say I don't know what I want to say? They say they are some about court. Or say Supreme Court tomorrow. Then you say that birth set is not a proof of citizenship. What kind of ruling is that? Are they no crown now? What they be passport now? They be proof of citizenship. Who have birth set? And I be quite Ghana card no crown now. Or you know? Who have birth set now? They are quite Ghana card. Who need birth set? I want to mean your Ghana card. So some of the rulings that we get from our court, it's too many. What we then or no me and what now? You get it? Sometimes you question certain decisions, but when we nipa, they can easily be influenced on their affiliations or certain things. They be more make rulings. Be I am for But and what say you making room for these wrongs and correction of the wrongs. It is very important.
Okay. All right.
Say court now you should have avenues to correct them, which is the appeal, the chain of appeal.
Okay. All right. So in all fairness, you think that the courts in a way has done right by going back on their word?
Maybe I would have been happy if this would have been an appeal. One more appeal.
Okay.
And I reverse and I quash his decision.
Okay.
But I don't understand the legal grounds on this thing. I'm not a lawyer yet.
Okay.
Maybe a lawyer can educate me on it, but I don't get the
whole legal
basis for say what can't I don't get it.
In fact, their courts don't even have the mandate to rule over this
into on which basis now scientific mandate no question on it. You get it? The whole thing is contradictory.
The forestry commission should keep the excavators until.
So did he strike out the case entirely? So we need jurisdiction to sit on the matter there. You strike out the case and tell them I don't have jurisdiction to sit on this matter.
Until the appropriate courts sit on the matter to rule on it, the forestry commission is permitted to keep the excavators.
Who is now supposed to go to the appropriate court?
I don't know. Probably, maybe the owners of the excavators, if they want to still pursue the case, they should take it to the appropriate court. But why then, if you know you are not appropriate to take up such a case, why did you rule on the case?
From the onset, so when the jurisdiction, what happens is that should go to a higher court to make a case that Okrana would need jurisdiction on the matter. And you one now best about whichever because me and I'm kind of 1 minute. Like, how does that work?
I was saying, I don't get it.
No, me, I cannot say. I cannot say for a fact. But I won't stop you. You get it? Maybe they mean I cannot say for a fact.
I will be commenter, but it's no say I didn't know sha and son about which here. Nippon neck and I mean, say no one I see yet.
So you see, me, I cannot say that something exchange hands. But if somebody else wants to say it, the person, based on the facts of the matter, this even is not about it. The facts of the matter, and informing your opinion.
Okay.
You get it? The fact of the matter, Mumi and I will say something exchange hand, but me.
Maybe I mean kind.
Maybe allegedly.
Okay. So you comment on.
Okay. National recharge appointment has.
And I didn't for you to parliament.
Oh, PFU. So with us on the weekend edition of the Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. This is Ghana Talks Radio. The conversation is getting lively. Let's hear from you on our social media platforms and also on YouTube. You can also join us on our WhatsApp line 0202-544-614 0202-544-614. Now moving on to the next topic. Ajay Bafo is calling for the collapse of the OSP office.
Who is he?
He's a legal practitioner.
Okay. Actually, he's a lawyer. Okay.
With his affiliations in politics, I don't know.
I'm not even asking about
MPP.
Okay. Oh,
he's an MPP.
I don't know.
A new patriotic party.
I don't know.
For Mainsha South.
I don't know.
He's an MP. A new MPP.
Yeah, for Mainsha South.
Okay.
Red flag.
Almost set it. It was no organa.
Yeah.
No organa.
But that's what he's saying. I don't know why. when they were in power, he didn't say that.
No, Ghana. And I call Kubako. Nay, Kwame Sivakan. Nay, Miami boss. Former Central Regional Minister. Kwame na.
Omunyina
kwatana Peace FM studio. SI. Danced. So you can go on YouTube, you find these videos. You see, the office of the special prosecutor. And the power. But the intentions are Akufo-Addo the government of the special prosecutor no. Office of the special prosecutor no. Nenye intent papa. The intention was to teach NDC people a lesson.
Okay.
And this is there. What say? No. OSP office ni no. Why no kofa no? Why no kofa so me OSP no?
Okofa why?
Martin Amidu. Okay. Martin Amidu had fallen out with NDC big time.
And some papa say obi a serpent of
mother serpent of corruption no. Now we're falling out with the NDC big time. And the yampe wo mo amuni pa wada no watamfo.
No make sure.
Nemfa ne make sure maso.
Ano so ba ye no be hu ye no.
Ene ma na bambu ye. Na ne nansin ba ku ya nkoto ankwa no ma me de me kra ba afode. Cecilia da pakesi nyesa anyum bi na okoto ye. En no Africa no for attack no for timi kan na boso so o ma susu ampan so o ma wa ba.
Certain or share and do it.
Many aquana yarding. Chairman Chabon, your friend saying, Chabafo. Many yarding say OSP no. Young Gunuba no ni who can be. Do you know why?
Why?
Because he was here in this country. When his party set up the OSP, he knew it was useless. Why didn't he say it? OSP office nearby now. How many years need?
8 years.
8 years. You check the amount going into the budget. Afibia sika or minus money allocation at the moment.
Okay.
Naka case they have successfully prosecuted.
I think that is about 2 or 3 cases.
Why now almost woman prosecuting in Ghana?
Successfully.
Successfully been
okay. Oh, sorry, successfully.
0.
In fact, this man some months ago, I think just about a month ago, he questioned the OSP's authority for declaring
when I mean no problem no and I mean no problem when the OSP then was inviting John Mahama in the Airbus scandal you never say yenguno say I invited on crop on the yenguno and kamejitum say based on results do ba say be fight corruption not prosecute corrupt criminals for 8 years into parties say corruption in see my way based on that, based on the fact say OSP office OSP hasn't given us results in Tinkienguno.
Okay.
But Chei Bafo has no moral right so be can be.
Why? So no so Ghana.
No ni man we mu no moti OSP no.
Somewhere no.
Bra no mo OSP ni prosecute NDC for no. Mu ni ha. Sata mo hu ni say yengu no.
Na dwan sesa.
OSP no anyini under NPP government and NDC government. OSP no edi only 3 months under NDC government.
Yeah.
Only 3 months. And the OSP no the number of years in existence has all been under NPP. That time he had every right to say what he's saying today. He knew he knew what he knows today. And nothing has changed. The only thing that has changed is that NPP is out of power, and now the OSP is going after NPP members. And you don't know, you get to say a bad result.
One can say Nuntia. Also, on the office, no so far.
Yeah, all they do is take money all the time, but
take money from take money now. Taking money on starting and ra. I told first and kind budget we now do a machine so the moms can yes. If we had a kind budget and no form on
but
and I started non kind budget no. He wasn't reading the budget.
You right? before you settle on his assertion, you in particular, do you think the office of the OSP has been of any benefit to the state?
You see, I'll take it from two angles.
Okay.
When it comes to resource, the OSP has not given us any resource.
Okay.
And if based on that, if anybody says that Yenguna, I would agree. But OSP office no, say my resource okay. If it was giving us resource, pa. But since it is not giving us resource who is the OSP now?
Kisi
Jabe. You can the relationship with the past administration. Where Gabi Ochiri dan kwadam for power. Omi ye yonkwo pa. So when he was appointed, people had problems with his appointment. And Obaba and Timbeka said, "Oh no, ubi antimi influence no meboa."
Yeah, he said it.
And he said, "Ne, obaso influence na wuntimi a. Wo say no ndi yengu office no."
Oh, na waka say influence intina.
Na there reasons in there. So what kind of resource there? Say resource na and start say a man because I need do my resource. On also by the nimfie do na wodi na under you. Kisi boy sen by 3 years I wodi no office of the special prosecutor. 3 months spend wodi no under Mahama. Meboa. 3 years ni nyina wodi no ma abreso. Into that time now no my resource no. Na didn't na wonka. You see, you have the he has the right to talk. But there are certain things he don't have the moral right to talk about. A bit say ba omiako Kumasi ya okojina am so omunwi KJT phase 2. What na ba mu 8 years? What can I buy mu 8 years? So 8 years want me and buy KJT phase 2. Be about 3 months also want go KJT phase 2.
No, see agenda 111.
And no do wasn't we na do wasn't a nipa ko hospital. You see, and you can call anything a hospital. But a hospital indeed is something that obi ko hokoja ya Make me incidents when I'm saying Dynamic Day Hospital. The fact that I've said that Dynamic Day Hospital doesn't make it a hospital until I can deliver health there. I can give health delivery there. That is when it becomes a hospital. Now what's the dance you wanna ni manye Daimboto?
No,
Daimboto what? Now what? Now see what catch say usi Daimboto. What catch say usi agenda 111 hospitals. Na nye Daimboto na ka say usi. So ka say usi adan amobi de niema na beguma ka beti ase.
Sa hospitals na sa COVID ntina omode sa.
No, so usi in 18 months.
Because
how many years ni? And how many? No, so usi in 18. And then we in hospital. Oh, fine.
I may emergency
But the Office of the Special Prosecutor investigates and prosecutes corrupt related activities. So in the call of they wanting to collapse this institution, he's an independent body on its own. Do you think it would affect the fight of corruption?
Office of the Prosecutor number na you prosecute you be Ghana for corruption. The Attorney General is there. We have state attorneys their job is to prosecute. You see, in Shishani Muna, nay, Yema Merian and Mark Kufa office of special prosecutor bio. He could have set up an office under the Attorney General to prosecute only corrupt cases. One more the answer will corrupt. And the budget tank the office of the special prosecutor. No, if you can move 1/10 and I say 1/8. And a massa small office no massa office of the special prosecutor no their job is to investigate investigators say no more. How qualified are their investigators? Yakoti a office of the special prosecutor yawo iyoko and they lapsing in duty.
Say you could mostly be a financial
now corruption they financial corruption now OSP and then financial. You see, Akufo-Addo had an agenda, and what the OSP no, but our agenda no fall flat. And nothing and the MP before now almost supported the establishment of the office of the special prosecutor. I got to Numbo say sa or Peace FM studio no, and there one say in Chem Yenguno. And the say ni pafofo bi e kan me ni problem. But for there. And so he has lost every moral right to even talk about these things. Because when it started, he was here. And we didn't start allocating budget for them yesterday. They have been getting their budget since the day it was established. And at that time, he didn't know that it was waste of money. if he's talking about say you changing structures, no, my results are, I will agree.
Okay.
But so no be catch say because my results in the NPM dey oboa, won't mean kasa.
But do you think that we should find a new mode of restructuring the office of the prosecutor?
You see, every law, the office of the special prosecutor is based on a law, an act of parliament. Okay, I believe that, and yet me believe it is the general knowledge that laws are living organisms. And new things are coming, so you can amend the laws. So if we can amend the special prosecutor OSP office mandate law, if we can amend that and make sure that we make his office effective and efficient, I don't have any problem with it. That would be good. That would be nice.
But what do you think are some of the reforms that can be brought up to strengthen the OSP?
I say OSP now, because I say we need jurisdiction over money laundering. And then I see the package no one to me and can answer.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And Attorney General na Godfrey Dame, and the year or sorry, I know the Supreme Court say Chief Justice said in one tias, you know. A tray crata coma you could say they shouldn't investigate it now. You have to establish money laundering and someone investigating money. If I don't investigate, how do I even establish the thing?
The thing.
And now what the Supreme Court say Chief Justice said into on it as a fool went to court.
And
one more. Say no more na
as a foyer beam.
As a foyer beam. No.
As a foyer crass.
No more. No more. And John Mahama a petition no Emma Chief Justice. And this is a motion now the court no. It is mute. Send me now copy court and say ya that you go there. As if we had walk Roman father, as you could do Roman father, also wouldn't be a politician. But better one of your politics there.
As if why is being a nuisance.
I didn't know can be a Jansen, but he believes in his stupidity. Excuse my language. And did not pushy agenda as if what a tama ye Pam Charlotte or say now Ghana. One country. And Malana Ede Pam Chief Justice in then. Sam Malana de Pam Charlotte say. And do you know one funny thing about Charlotte? Say, we didn't that for Pani Akufo.
Really?
Akufo Charlotte say graduation in a law school in Canada. Akufo for playing Kobe. Kobe. Quatena waiting and saying many pictures based on that. I'm not for power. But politics in tea. Power. In the power they do, when power use to me. Now what can I say? Plastic chair now better. Plastic chair.
Because never say why and saying
eh, as a one there.
Say when you about one can who.
Indeed for you now on Waka Parliament. What to the Parliament? I just say you didn't go before the command home. Where am I? So I won't be near here. You Japan the Bayan or Ghana.
Now, Sisiano, the office of the special prosecutor, you say, Nanadu NET. Into that perception, you say it is politically motivated. The NPP are influencing the office of the special prosecutor. Now, someone would ask, how?
Now, NPP no influence, and NPP ni because you know.
Then times no, Sisia, Abeya say NDCDA. Nti obi beka say ekwan ben so na ye befa so a an institution, especially the OSP, fighting against corruption. It is an independent body. Ekwan ben so na ye befa so a it wouldn't be under any political influence.
You see, me no yet ye do me fa kwan bia so. OSP no na also form one kwan so. He must prosecute people regardless of their political affiliations.
He's been given the mandate
to do that. Once he starts doing it, Ghanaians won't say anything about say yeah. We what you may hear. Obia Musa Hio. What is yes unsa not here, unsuro bruni. What is only Bruni Juma. Why you Juma come Bruni ba wo ko he.
Yeah.
You get it? So he has to do his job. On one end started on Chichomo. As NDC is in power, NDC near Bonia, prosecute him. My court and Nkasa onye bonnet. Let the court say that onye bonnet, but you do your job as a prosecutor and prosecute. So court and Nkasa onye bonia. Yen you never call for judgment and anything. Ya kind say I'm pass onye bonia, ye kind bedding, ye betiasi. So why bonnets were court on a kind of judgment and a kind bedding? You don't know. But OSP, an office cannot be in existence for close to 6-7 years, and we wouldn't have results. Then I will agree with people who wants us to collapse it, but certainly I wouldn't agree with Cheba for saying that we should.
But why would you agree with some people?
I'll agree with anybody, but not Cheba for. You know why? Because he was in this country, he knew the OSP wasn't giving us results. He sat down and kept quiet all this while until NDC came to power, and now all of a sudden you know the OSP is not performing and they are wasting money, they are wasting resources.
Okay, but do you think that, as we are all saying, for all these years, we are yet to see the OSP provide or produce any results? Do you think there is something hindering his operations?
The hindrance is the reason why. The hindrance is the reason why he came out, organized a press conference, and sang to us. And
what was that hindrance?
The hindrance was the political authority at that time. I don't know if that says he opens for Mekan or the can be a man. But as it stands now, he has not made any claim that the political authority right now is hindering his work.
So maybe then a J-Bafo is right, because first now see administration on Wama prosecute. See administration aba. Or no, yes, I didn't still I won't prosecute. Then
you see, will it take 3 months to just prosecute somebody in Ghana? Is 3 months enough to prosecute?
I think
a highly skilled crime? You see, corruption is a normal crime or a skilled crime. Why do you won't mean corruption? So you must know the law, know how to find your way around the law to be able to commit a crime as high as corruption as a political appointee or a public official.
Okay.
And this crime doesn't just take a month or two to prosecute and be to have a successful prosecution.
Okay.
It takes time.
Okay.
But as it stands now, in Siachi, won't even prosecute you be there. Mean can be my own money. In as much as it takes time, no. At least nka for be to me.
Keke. Nka obian ko tom kra de nka.
At least for be court na court in Jano ni hu say what dey no court ni.
Yeah, many so na de nka.
Ye di asem ni we no court ni. Na hwa ayi o kenofrata. Enye ne na tie o man mu free 19 kodwo hoho be kan ne.
Otu kwan ansa
akọ hwe no. Asem we ni nyansa and akufo ado. Adenti no one for kenofrata anko court when he committed those crimes years back.
Because Nema
2022. Nema obobo so say oforiata bone oye nyina oye no 2022 ba. In 2023 now and 2022 now. Did he become the officer of the special in 2021 or in 2022?
In 2021.
Really?
Yeah, I think it was in 2021.
In 2021 now be official office of special prosecutor. What tendencies are from 2021 to 2025? I think now the papa ne court. I think now also we investigate, you know. I think now say he has moved from a person of interest to a suspect.
In regards to what you are saying, do you think that the office of the special prosecutor should start investigating someone after they've left power? And that's some other citizen.
What do man cause will be free power and investigate? Yes, investigate corruption as they happen. Even conduct assessment on deals. Na dwuma no nyase ordinary pe court nko senka o mine ko sign contract no e wo so oye audit on the deal. Eno na ma a Japan no di ekopie Martin Amidu ho ana kenofo ata so ya homache ko bo no punum so opeso ne di nkomo.
Was Japan don dey that should be a better ko fa one.
No, you see that is the reason why people are campaigning against gold board today. Asem na ekoso nyina no. It's not because gold board is bad, but it is because their aim to do a japa won't be realized when gold board is established. Na koko
Japan ebe bazo de.
Na nya na say a Japan anka o hwe mra mu a da so wo ho. O hwe mra mu a e da so wo ho. You need 2/3 of parliament. They needed 2/3 of parliament at that time to cancel their japa. Did they do it? What Akufo-Addo just did is must suspend it.
Yeah.
So any president can wake up today and say, I've left that suspension. Let's go back to a Japan and do it. So the office of the special prosecutor, and then the Juman say, like, or chichi, or the past of yeah, and I say, or the government officials are, or my trim, Ebakakujina court. Na Juman so can say, corruption e koso se sia no abanye to also investigating no chini panetum
okay
na sisili ada papa da so na mabante
anu unse na meka say nka onye hwe kra de nka ba ku bi ho de nka osa at least enya bibi free but anu kra no well moving on
mi pa mi go do timika so ne jiro so otumfo ne
yere penyi
hey
still with us on GhanaTalks Breakfast Show. This is GhanaTalks Radio. We are moving to the last topic of the day, and this topic, the CEO for DVLA has proposed that we should formalize the operations of the Goro Boys at the DVLA. Goro Boys now ko register o car ni ade o DVLA o mo na manim o the fabra me no afa no I say for you not to go
oyema wa na so wonye oyema oje saje emura na oyema wa na so wonye
ebi mu ye they issue fake licenses.
Really? For that one I haven't heard it before, but I know that they do.
So let's look for those who give fake licenses and deal with them. And if senka ye nimomu nyina and they are under a supervision of the DVLA. Senko ye fake license na ma DVLA be hu say agent we na ye fake license na.
That is where
so if we are
meba
okay.
One say onam kroma utimi ko duru be ni ya tre DVLA accredited center. Ono no ye hwan ya.
Intermediary.
O Goro boy o sika. He's a rich Goro boy and onu asi the company esan so o sika nti DVLA dey ama na accreditation say utimi de car na koho e ma na koye ho ne mama na ye te say ne DVLA na ya ma nti say DVLA ntimi yes ama sika fo a adinta DVLA ntimi yes ama ahia fo mo ntimi see those structures. You see, even the DVLA, one form A now car register near there. No, it is there. It is on its agent. They've made provisions for agent or yama or better training in shower. So DVLA since time in memorial, recognize it, these Goro boys and call them agents. I said this Okada issue, yeah, they be can once me. If the thing is going on, why don't we regularize it? Juma na man for Juma. Send ye mo ye dom nyina ba under one umbrella. Na ye say oje license ma na nke wo so oje 600 cedis because say oye agents na wan ko DVLA na nkasa wono nti on for 200 cedis into so. No ma DVLA ni 50 cedis out of the 200 cedis. Are we not making money? Nipa no so obenya ne nsa be kona no. Na DVLA no so anya bi kakra. But say DVLA ni 600 a. E san say Goro boy no enye regulated nti. Ono betimi abaka cho say o ma 1000. Na me koyema obeye 1000 no okodu DVLA na DVLA official aye tua na ka ene be assist no amana ya de no no ne na chesika no sika no kwa aban ho senye Goro boys na kwata na computer na chi enter data no mebo a DVLA official na ti wa enter data no. So how do they allow them to influence the DVLA officials yenchi Goro boy no? So what is studio where I say oh ma me meka sabi anase fa earpiece se waso ne meka na waka aguma say ye bone a ye chime ye wo se ye chew enti adenti na ye ta Goro boy na yeja nipa na what DVLA office or edi Goro Boy no business. Because Goro Boy no ekoje information free. Customer na say individual no ha. Or me pam DVLA for enter na ho na say on twen ma de ensan wa bu padlock no ana to form bobia ko wura office wa enter data no. What the ma DVLA ni no enter data no. So why are we making it just the problem? Say Goro Boys is not a problem. The Goro Boys can be a problem if they take your job and don't do it. That's only where they will become a problem. But if they take your job, agree with you, say, "Mami 600 cities, my license amount." Now this 600 cities no quite license amount. Only ni asem. So just what be license amount.
Yeah.
And why license amount.
Yeah.
So instead of making it say, "What be a DVLA for a time for," but back door we and for. Goro Boy be a wo be a o jiu sika ni DVLA ni o de why you come na o be enter details no. O enter details ni we are commission on yibi. And because the DVLA people, the workers at the DVLA are aiding these Goro Boys no. Over kwine papa so say wo per license e be 5 months, 6 months, 7 months now san kan wo license. Me boy.
Yeah, no correct.
Indirectly they are telling you say Goro Boy no ho. Command is no me ma me cat na me nye ntem ma. In this year no official. Na sa sika na de to so no regularize no near say okay for 500 cities ubetimi de 200 cities per na atoso. But out of the 200 cities now they are atoso no because you are an agent, a licensed agent of DVL in made you 50 cities per every transaction out the beba. Don't you think say no be boa nyansa wom chen say they be the police for tata mo. There are officers there are officials in DVLA who are only officials. Go or my employer amount for to be Goro Boys for them.
Okay, but if we are going to popularize this, mandating them to be formal under the DVLA, is it not going to encourage other institutions or other people to move into other institutions to operate as Goro people in aid of someday becoming formalized to these institutions?
Etu maybe I walk American. O document no the mo bi no process ya man. Say nipa no ya. Ebi o how to me year processes na unya date. O date na be 2028, 2035. Na wa ko hu obi. O was me o date o me do be hye ho. Say nipa no ya. O a Goro Boy. By sense all boy am wa kwa abrochire nti hu nse problem ho. Intermediaries,
but does it make it
intermediaries and agents are everywhere. First, now I call a year a friend saying a harbor. Him for an hour. No, me, women are Goro Boys, and the harbor has regularized their activity, and they call them agents, clearing agents. I don't have any problem with it if what their activities are legal. What they say. When they take your money and what the service they promise to you agree with them to deliver to you is being done.
So I'm coming. What makes something legal?
Regularizing it.
Okay. They are not regularized yet.
Yes.
So we can't call what they are doing.
Of course, but you engage them.
It doesn't make it legal.
No, but you engage them.
But it doesn't make it legal.
Oh, license. Meba. Oh, license.
Oh, yes.
Can you say it on there?
Oh yes. My office na
Oh, Eddie, how many months?
I think 2 months.
On a normal day, okay, what's the license? How many months?
On a normal day, once I bro 1 week, because any process changing biasa. You just present whatever you have.
Ghana for your problem
for you.
Your problem, pa. You United has say, oh, and I'm a kwaji license. 18 months now in Sanka. But the Goro Boy 1 week now on Saka. In this any panel bet me abo amount I can 1 week they say legitimizing on one ye man quine so one yen on legitimate basis. What's a one tiase? One tiase what like one tiase?
No, I think the fear of people now is this. We already have people at the offices who are supposed to do this. We have made the stance say because of omo cat or omo painting, they intentionally delay it. No more for Goro Boys and yeah, you money anymore. If that is the case that has been established, is it not in the right call rather to put these people on caution? Say, Mona ya famo se munye juma so be the juma ba na wo delay ya ye be yi wedi rather than regularizing something that is illegal.
Okay, when I check, he said you man delay.
Just say okay, when I check him out.
Me say when I check him out, who said you man delay? And yet DVL and penny for a woman one and check it. Exactly. My man can't say oh, Ghana police for no Jana Pan. So 5 city no more general. Because of quantity.
But Dubi, if we argue it in this way,
I can say
we are trying to promote the same thing we are fighting against.
I can say it on authority. Say, it says can be a bit me a quack do IGP.
Wait, what are we fighting against?
What are we fighting against?
What are we fighting against?
The illegality.
Of what?
This one, they're outside with you, big.
Illegality.
You are siding with on what grounds?
On the grounds that these Goro boys are serving as intermediaries between the DVLA and the drivers.
Of course.
So I don't see the reason why these people are, even though it's illegal, that is why the CEO is saying that they should legalize it. In so doing, you educate these people on what to do. And
let me ask you one question.
The whole thing.
Let me ask you one question. So I'll call a cantamanto. So I'll Uchina na onyade ni bia ya na hu boy bem nyanya pa no se nyanya pa no se chama bag so shoe unu omagino
nkoto DVL office
me se uya unu omagino nkoto
bia obeka se metuma obi ni wo obeka so obey license ama order wako office wa wo ni obi so obey
in every institution there's an intermediary.
We don't have to. For me, and this is where the argument is actually coming from. However, we are trying to justify this for these people is indirectly promoting the exact thing we always preach against, which is corruption.
When I saw this topic, the first thought that came in mind was your point of view, without researching. My research, you know, the first point of view I had was yours. Even when I was sitting here, when I came in the morning, I was sitting at the reception. I still had that point in mind until I decided that, oh no, I have watched one-sided videos. Let me watch videos from other people and other jurisdictions.
Okay.
So I did. I watched videos from other people who had contrary opinion to what I first thought and your side. Then I came to understanding that, look, this thing will never go away. Goro boys are the DVL. Without power, soldiers coaching now. Soldiers now will turn out to be the Goro boys. You know why? It is because DVL assistance never honor. Their activities sometimes overwhelm them. A human in a day no sometimes overwhelms them. And you bet me acquire license. What quite take you biometric bibia every a bet me about system no crano, there will be a glitch in the system. We biometric no, it will not go as it was supposed to go. And as our documentation will not go as it was supposed to go. But say all the my agent and all the choir when him send me the 10 names and answer 10 data and buy. Major so am all me 10 ide. Amame de akọ.
Enti say agent ni gina wo so ebe the glitch in machine no ebe kwa na say
amba say enka wo say onya 10 e na 9 ba obebu so say ba akọ no we he. Because machine sika ba akọ no e we he. What you produce it?
And when the person behind the machine be produce it.
Yes.
What is different from me am about office wo? Na wo ye. Amba na me be so produce. What we are our time is actually up. I'm asking producers to give me just 2 minutes.
Dru ye na dru DVL ho na o kan wasem je o me dano me be license wa how be 1 month ago na nke wo say ba last week me buy na me nsanka o ye frɛ say no a check it no ko ye be ya ma why ye na adefoforo aba was so ye okoye na o adefoforo aba edukura na
sa adefoforo na free Goro boy whatever
you see so and this Goro boy
is why the first place to tackle for me
chain
It's the people manning the machines there, not the Goro boys being empowered. It won't solve anything.
So Okada right?
It is rather
it's illegal. So Okada is illegal.
So we interview about
Ofamoto. So Ofamoto.
Ofa.
Ofa na Ofa. Bawafada.
It doesn't make it legal. That is the point I'm trying to make. It doesn't make it legal. Whether I take police for Famoto. No, does it make it legal?
You see, that's the reason why they want to regularize it. What I say?
Regularizing it is not a bad thing.
Yes, so this is regular.
What I am saying is this, and the argument that people are raising is what I am advocating here. I'm not arguing your fact.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, this is the fact. They are intentionally not doing it. And to what say?
Oh, how?
They
need to legalize the operations of the Guru boys.
Okay. For me,
bring them under the company's framework and make sure that they are educated and certified to go according to the laws of the company.
After they educate them, more machines. So
the thing is that agents no, machine na chiu. Open driving license you can go to the office or you can see agents to facilitate it for you. Open Daya. Say Accra highway. Open Daya. Okay. Sometimes feel around credit me the dynama agent. Oh, banner agents then count one. Or Bakacho said 9 in the fee.
Okay. So we should formalize the.
Of course.
Okay.
No,
what is going to be the benefit of formalizing the?
Okay. These people.
Yeah.
Will be directly employed.
Okay.
We can take taxes from the commission now, because Ujisikana VVL in himself who registered in pattern. And I commission ESC and our taxes in CSC. Say you want more what you want more yen or more back door or mine and fast in your films.
Okay.
But they are using the state logistics and systems to make their money.
Okay. All right. Ready?
Yeah. I would side with him, especially with the unemployment issue. These people will be employed, and it would really help.
It would really help.
I beg read comment.
Okay, so Email TV says demolition, yet politicians will still prevent that. And Dramani Abu Bakari says listening to you live from Ahafu, Goso.
Okay.
It's not Guaso. We can't Guaso there.
Is that all we have for the comment session? Okay, so then that will be all for the day as we end this week's edition on the Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. You are live on Ghana Talks Radio. We will engage you to stay tuned. There are so many other programs coming your way. We'll return on your screens and on your airwaves on Monday for the Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. My name is Pakwesi Omare. In the studios with me was Mr. Dubik Stephen, who championed the discussion for us, and also my beautiful Ohima Bless. Thank you to our producer, to DJ Q and all MCR production team. We thank you for a blissful week. We are wishing you a much blissful weekend. Bye.